starting off high.
Get
I think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
no, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof raid.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Transhuman race back wolves.
before I would trust a human to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, welcome back to Do Fools Agree. We are here live for episode 20. Double.
The big 2-0.
The big 2-0.
Hey.
How you doing tonight, Cliff?
I'm alright. I'm doing alright. How you doing?
I'm doing alright, man. We got some of our usuals back in the building. We got a new layout on the video feed. I'm excited. What's going on, Aaron?
How y'all doing, my brothers? Y'all all right?
We hanging in there.
All right, my brother.
Columbus is dangerous right now. In fact, I'm worried. I'm worried about Mr. Jennings going home tonight.
Don't worry about me, baby.
No.
We'll check and see
keep
where
hearing
the
about this.
curfew squad is. Usually they're up by campus and Lane Avenue anyway. So, what'd you have to say, Matt? And we got Matt with us tonight. What's going on, Matt?
Hey. So I keep hearing this, but I keep searching for it online, and I'm not seeing the violence that they're talking about in Columbus. Like, I'm out here in the burbs. Fill me in, fellas. What the fuck is this?
I mean, the only violence that's been happening is that perpetrated by our fine men in uniform from the CPD.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, where the fuck is the rhetoric? Like, I work in a greenhouse, so obviously I work around a lot of conservative people.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful every day. So the fucking rhetoric that I hear, and I'm constantly trying to battle, because I come home every night and I'm actively searching for this violence they're talking about, at least in Columbus. Like, you can see it elsewhere, like New York, LA, shit's getting a little crazy. Minneapolis, obviously.
I mean,
but in Columbus, I'm not seeing it all.
Yeah, and that's not to say there haven't been bad actors. Like, they did break into the State House, which, more power to them.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I think what you've seen is, and honestly, the only places where it hasn't even been violent, it's been destructive. There's been a couple of instances of it being destructive. But even then, it was white kids. Which detracts from the movement. Like, I get it, right? Am I the only one that's been seeing this? I mean, I'm the white boy on the panel, so
no.
Me and Matt.
The way I look at it, man, there's some people that be at the house like waiting for some shit like this to happen. Like, it's time to loot bet.
It's
Put on their
opportunistic.
mask to run out. They got their crowbar. They got their Slim Jim. They got some bricks hidden in the back or some shit like that because they're ready for it. Some people just like anarchy.
Right.
And they feed off of it.
Well, and that's what they're doing, is they're waiting for the opportunity, and it's they're seizing whatever opportunity is available to them, and it presents an opportunity for people to do dumb shit.
But what's crazy to me though is hearing all these white folks go crazy about seeing the police planting bricks and giving out spray cans.
My favorite
and stuff.
My favorite one that I've seen is, oh, you're surprised about police planting bricks? Wait till I tell you about crack.
Right? Guns. All that. This is all that. Like, you've been saying all that for so long.
Where do you think all those
weapons
weapons
they
come
would
from?
never do that.
Right.
And now you're seeing police.
They did.
I saw a video of a police officer hand this white lady a spray can and say, spray paint BLM on the wall, and she does it.
I've
and
seen
then she
that
goes
video.
back to hand it to him, and he says, no, spray paint R.I.P. George Floyd. Then she goes back and spray paints that, and then hands him the spray can back. I said, this shit crazy. But it's not surprising, though.
No.
It's not surprising to any of us. We're like, yeah, those are the tactics that you've always used.
Right.
You've been planting shit on us and trying to
use law and order as a dog whistle.
Right, trying to
since
lower
the
our
50s.
notoriety by saying we're involved in. That's the tactics that you've always used. So
Right.
it's not
It's
surprising
nothing
that
new.
you would use it in this scenario. It's just
nothing.
funny
That's
seeing white
exactly
people
what they did
being
with crack.
shocked at it. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe. Well, now you're on our side. Now you see
Right.
it from our eyes. That's exactly what you're doing. The Key and Peele, was it Key and Peele? The vision goggles.
Oh, I don't remember. I think I know
It
what
wasn't
you're talking
Chappelle.
about.
I know it
I
wasn't
don't
Chappelle,
watch
but they did vision goggles where you put them on and you would be the race that you selected, and that's exactly what's going on now. Now that you're on the side of protester, you're now on the side of black, so you get to see it from our perspective.
Right.
But it's not just for a
I mean, that's
4-day
the whole
stretch.
that's the whole Eminem thing, right? Where he used to talk about middle America. Now it's a tragedy. Now it's
Right.
so sad to see these upper class white people like.
You're right.
And that's the whole thing. And I think you saw the 6-year-old little white girl get maced. People were
That shit made
tore
me
up by that.
furious.
No shit.
Listen, that's why I'm not built just to be going down there rah-rah and holding up a sign, because if I see some shit like that, I might go to jail that day.
or not make it out.
That's mostly what's happening. Is people seeing something like that and be like, I'm gonna go ahead and put this sign down and work you out real quick.
There is no
If
way
I gotta go to jail
could have
for it.
let that happen. Listen, I saw the parents pouring shit. Carmel. Baby, give me a second. You're gonna have to grit your teeth and bear it for a
I
second.
hope somebody can
I have
hold you for a
business
minute,
I
because
have
I'm
to
gonna
handle.
fuck somebody up.
I gotta tell you though, my biggest gripe with this whole thing, and I may start some shit right now, but my biggest gripe is with the fact that it's all happening. Everything you're hearing, every side of what you've heard as rhetoric, is actually happening.
Oh, no doubt.
So it goes from police brutality, to completely innocent protesters, to police planting shit, and police infiltrators.
Oh, yeah.
People that they're on the street fucking things up, and then there's actual legit looters going around. Have you seen some of the shit? I watched a video last night of what they did in New York on Fifth Avenue. That shit was crazy. It was a gang of people, black, white, everybody, just going store to store, busting shit up.
No
It
doubt.
was
Free
nuts.
shoes, nigga.
Yeah,
Free
fuck
shoes.
them.
Absolutely crazy. It has nothing to do with
Fuck 'em.
protesting.
No,
And
it
this
doesn't.
is the kind of
it's
fuel-
opportunity.
But see,
Yeah,
regardless
no,
though,
this
I
is-
mean, but at the same
This is the
time,
fuel that they're giving to people on the right to make these claims about how this is all about looting and it's not about a protest, and they get to completely deplatform the entire
right.
thing.
And most of the time, those aren't people that are associated with the movement that are doing that.
right? But
I know, but that's how it gets conflated.
I
though.
understand.
you also have to
That's the
understand that this
tactic.
is all organic as well. We might not have gotten the same attention if they didn't.
Right.
We
True.
might not have gotten the same attention just kumbayaing down there if they
It would have
didn't.
been. It would have
Okay.
been something like, and people gathered on the State House today to protest the death of George Floyd. And now on to the weather.
Exactly.
Right.
Sarah,
If they just
how are we
confine
looking for the
themselves to
weekend?
national
Corona
parks
has
and all
spiked
kumbaya.
19% since the start of the protest. Like, come on,
But
like
the flip side of that is, the protest can't be responsible for coronavirus spikes because guess what? It takes at least 7 days to incubate.
Right.
These are the fuckers that went out on Memorial Day weekend and went to the beaches and went out and
Right.
went to the bars and shit.
Right.
Now, when cases spike again in 2 weeks, yeah, that'll be due to the protests.
right.
And the fact that they're using tear gas, which is designed to make you basically expout bodily fluids from your eyes, from your mouth, from your nose. And guess what?
It's
That's gonna
respiratory,
spike
but
it.
basically, it's more or
Right.
less respiratory.
Absolutely. So it spikes all that shit. And maybe that was the plan. I don't know.
Listen,
maybe,
I wouldn't be.
Maybe they wanted to build the herd immunity quick. They said, "Well, we got these fucking protests.
Right?
We might as well get everybody
This is
infected
all part
right
of the
now."
Listen.
Shit.
I like to compare it to like when everybody used to try to tell people about how the government's giving us crack. Y'all know that, right? Like they're bringing this crack, and how are we getting these Uzis and shit? like in the hood. Like
Right.
who's bringing these in here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They never believed this. Now they can see, not from that extreme of a thing, but like you can see how the government's like, look, putting bricks out and basically giving you fuel to do stupid shit.
Right.
But a lot of these racist motherfuckers won't even connect the dots because they don't want to. Though.
They don't want to.
They don't want to connect the
Yeah,
dots. That's the thing about it. And I will say this, that based on social media, I'll say this, based on social media, I am upset with the black community.
Why is that?
Because
Hey, where's Oprah and Gail at, man?
Right, shut the fuck up. You stupid as hell.
What?
But-
Seriously though, seriously,
No, I
how
agree.
hard is it for you to take your phone
I mean,
out and just say some shit?
No,
real
I do
quick?
agree.
Like
I
the-
agree.
like the
just
NFL
opened his
players
mouth
all
like 2
did.
days ago
Right,
about this.
I agree with that. But my whole thing is this: like, all I've been, and it's funny to me, is all I've been seeing is deleting so many people from my friends requests and taking note on who's posting and who's not and shit like that. And it's like, man, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, especially just deleting everybody from your friends request. So basically what you're saying is you want to slam the door on them.
On being able to educate them.
Right. They're on the other side of the door.
I mean,
though.
I will.
You slam the door on yourself with your problems locked in. You lock
Right.
the door on yourself with your problems instead of educating someone who may just not have been able to see it from that perspective.
And what I will say is, 5 years ago, I was one of those people who's just like, I can't deal with this shit, and I unfriended people. I don't do that shit now. I post shit that's fact. I post material. I mean, I've posted a ton of, like, you want to educate yourself? Go look at this. Go look at this.
Right.
Go
I've
look
seen
at this.
some of the posts that
And
you've
it's
been-
been like documentaries. It's been books. It's been learning resources.
That shit is so dumb to be like, let me just cut everybody off. Those are the people that you're protesting to.
Right.
So cut them off, and then what? Hope that they see it through the skewed view of
whatever media that they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why? Those are the people you're supposed to be speaking to.
No, I
and it's
agree.
exhausting.
Dude, I started
believe
getting
me.
myself into like a whole workup about this shit back in 2016 when Trump got elected, and it was right about 2017 when I just got off Facebook. I haven't canceled my account, but I haven't been on in 3 years.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
tagged
not
both
happy
of
on it
you
either.
just to have you on there, but you're on all the posts.
Yeah, I'm not happy on it.
Hey, Mike, do you even know that I have a Facebook?
You do, because I
Is that-
tag you
yeah.
on this shit.
I
And
haven't
it's
been-
still your
my picture is like, I think it's like
From
11
your, like,
years old.
I was
or
about
some
to say,
shit.
I think you were about 22.
It wasn't from too much after that last trip that we had when we went to Florida.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
No,
it's that long ago.
Right.
This nigga was had baby dreads and shit.
But no,
You know
back,
what I'm
back to
saying?
the point here is that you can't spend all day fighting with people on the internet.
No,
Because
you
9 times out of 10, you are
No,
not changing anybody's mind.
No. And I don't have any don't get me wrong. When I made that statement, I have no problem with people unfriending people. Because nobody wants toxic shit all up and down their timeline.
Especially people that are constantly like posting just to stir shit.
Now that's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's what you have to sift through. That's what you have to be able to differentiate is who's the trolls and who are legitimately just uneducated and ignorant to the situation.
Right.
And
I'd say there's a lot of just uneducated people
Oh, there
out there,
is.
and it's just like, I don't have the fucking time to educate everybody.
listen, I don't either, and it's so fucking exhausting, but I refuse to just.
It's a full-time job.
It can be.
It definitely can be.
It can be. Well, it depends, though. It also depends, because, see, here's the thing. If you've... This is something else that you have to understand, is if someone even takes the time to correct you, most likely they care about your view.
Yeah.
I'll say
Maybe.
this: if they take time to correct you, they've at least been listening.
No,
A little bit.
well, I'm not...
I,
I'm just referring
Point.
to, like, on the social media side of things, because like you said, it is
It's
a
easy to
full-time
scroll
job,
past and-
so you have to pick and choose who you're going to have that conversation with. And if I even engage
I hear
in
you
that
on that.
conversation with you, that's most likely because you're someone that I'm not specifically trying to delete.
Yeah.
Now, if you're someone I don't give a fuck, I just keep scrolling and move on to the next.
Well, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. So do you remember Robbie? Mick's son? Mick,
okay.
whose house I lived at
Mick.
for a minute.
I'm struggling
Mick's
with
the big bald dude.
I know
Robbie
him.
is his
I'm
son.
struggling with his face though.
Anyways, Robbie's one of those people. He's ex-military.
Right.
And 10 years ago, I thought he was pretty educated. Seeing some of the shit he's posting now, like, he just reposts shit, and, like, it's clear he's not fact-checking anything.
Right.
And it's one of those things that hurts my soul, because I'm like, I like this dude. Like, I've had a good time. Like, I know in his heart he's a good dude.
You're just uneducated.
Is what I feel like. And the thing is, he doesn't have an excuse to be uneducated.
Right.
Have you ever told him he's stupid?
He's got a black girlfriend.
You ever told him that?
He's got, like, I'm like, how are you posting this shit and you're in a mixed relationship? I guess she's not black. She might be Filipino.
Yeah, I was about to say, because if that was the case, and
but still, it's like you're in a mixed relationship and you can't. Like, guess what? Your mixed daughter, is going to be treated like she's a person of color.
Karma.
Right.
Karma, and yet the world revolves. Karma. See, that's where the shit hits the fan. Is, you know what? And I hate, as a Christian man,
these are always my favorite.
I'm not supposed to dwell in other people's pain, but I cannot wait for that polar shift for everybody's jaw to drop and be like, yeah, motherfuckers was trying to tell you there, wasn't they?
Right.
And I cannot wait to just step over motherfuckers that think just like that.
Well, I think, and honestly, at this point, too, like, I think that's what you're seeing with all these protests. You got white folks that are out there getting maced for peaceful protesting, too. And they're finally starting to listen. You got the old white dude in Buffalo that got pushed.
Right.
Yeah.
And his head cracked open.
Right.
Back up, old man.
Right. And they tried to claim that he tripped and fell.
Right.
They had 60 officers resign to protest the fact that they were suspended. And people wonder why, like, these are why people say it's systemic.
You know what?
Because they protect their own.
Right. That's what it comes down to. But I mean, listen, this is it though. This is the spark.
It has to be.
I know. I don't know if I'm interrupting anybody. I don't know.
No, you got it.
You're good.
I saw somebody. I don't know his name. It's a fellow African American. He had the same view I had. Came up with. I'm just not as famous as he is. But like, the community that a police officer polices should be picked by the community. It should be like a coalition of that community. Be like, okay, and you have to be from that neighborhood or have lived in that neighborhood. You can't be from the other side of town policing a neighborhood on the other side of town.
Right.
So
neighborhood and go running home.
So this is my inadvertent thought for the week. Abolish the police and privatize it. Privatize it where each individual community basically does a request for proposal, does an RFP for a private security firm to police the neighborhood. And you can still have it be tax driven.
The heckles on the back of my neck are just like going up.
What do you mean?
He said it tickled back.
Talk about privatizing police force. I see that going the same way as privatizing prison system.
No, here's the way though, is that what you do is you have the ability to hold them accountable. There is no qualified immunity at that point. They are just as subject to every other lawsuit that any other private security firm would be subject to. You see people in private security firms get sued for use of force all the fucking time. Fuck it. Privatize the police force.
I would also go on a venture to say that it's a good idea in the fact that if they are policing someplace that they live, it's a little bit different. Because then you'll know the community better. I'm not saying it'd be perfect at all because people take advantage of everything.
And the reason you saying that sparked that for me, make that a condition of the contract with that private security firm. 50% or more of the people that you hire have to be from this zip code, from this township.
So the conservative in me says, let's try it. Let's try it in a small, states' rights, just try it.
My only concern
Let's
would
see how it
be
works.
how many qualified people would be in the lower.
What do you
That's
mean?
the other part, though. So I think
Like in like
I
okay.
I don't know. This might be counterintuitive. I don't even know if that word is the right word. But what I'm saying is that like police don't get paid enough
No,
to give
I
a fuck.
agree. Right.
True
So
statement.
But again,
so
but you know why that is, right? Because they're unionized, and it's all based on tenure. The good, and it's the same way with fucking teaching. The good ones don't get paid more than the shitty ones. The people who last the longest get paid the most.
The thing is that the
Privatizing it would allow it to be a meritocracy and allow it to be based on merit and by what the like. Fuck it, it's fucking community comment cards. You've worked in a call center. I've worked.
you beat my ass last week. I wasn't cool with that.
But still, like it's comment cards. It works in care centers. It works for any kind of physical labor. Why wouldn't it work for cops? And promote the ones that the community says are doing a good job. And if they're shitty people and they're doing a good job, then what's the problem? The community's the one that's giving the feedback.
I mean, if
Is there a cap on how big the private company can be?
It's based on, you'd have to make it based on community taxes.
Like per capita.
So whether it was a city council or a township council or whatever the equivalent is in a township, or
well, here's where the issue that you would run into with that is that usually the lower income cities have the higher crime rates, but the lower
revenue.
Right. So it's like the people that would need to be paid more wouldn't get that.
Subsidize it the same way you do today. Meaning the state determines which areas get the funding. They determine which communities get the funding.
That's the thing, though, because that's what I was about
I'm
to
just
say,
spitballing here.
Listen,
Like
we're
paying CPD $45 million right now, and that's just in their special operations unit.
We're not just fighting police brutality alone, though. It's
Some of the
also
highest paid cops in the
systematic
country, right?
racism as well.
Really?
So once you take police out of it and assume that the government forces above are going to do correct, we're right back in the same boat. It's not just police brutality, it's systematic racism. So we
I
can't
agree.
just say, well, the state will. No, the state hasn't been, nor has federally have we been. So why now should... That's the thing. We can't shut up today until everything is met. If we don't cross all our T's and dot all our I's and we shut up, it's essentially like us signing a contract for less than we knew we deserved.
I guess my point is, I don't know that you can fix police departments as they exist today.
No, you can't.
So that's where I'm saying blow them up.
You're right,
and
I
redirect
agree.
that and redirect that funding.
I agree, but we shouldn't stop there. We should take it even further up to like.
No doubt.
The chain, like it's the people that put those laws in place. It's not like the police said, "No, we'll write this portion of the Constitution."
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So I'm saying, I think you look at privatization and you look at defunding racist institutions like the police, and you have to redirect that funding to things like housing, social services, public health.
Well,
I think a combination of those two approaches are viable. Now, I don't have the details. That's not my area of expertise. I'm a fool, right? But in my mind, that's something that you can look at. I know for the companies that I work at, we're not allowed to just go with one vendor. Every 2 years, we have to do a request for proposal from other vendors, even if it's for the same type of work. Why not do that with our police? Because the Fraternal Order of Police has shown that it's a racist fucking institution.
Right.
And they can't get shit done. And they're not going to change. So fuck it. RFP. Put out an RFP out there that says, you know what, Columbus Police, maybe we're not going to renew the contract with you and we're going to look at privatizing this. And we'll see what a private company comes back with, because guess what? A private company is going to lowball the offer.
Right.
They're gonna come
get the
in.
offer, right.
They're gonna come in at a point where they can underbid the cops.
And they can't. And you can't do too much worse.
Right.
Like at the moment, you can't do too much worse. At the moment, you could put together the Bad News fucking Bears, get a mod squad out of the community, like you said, of people just in general, and you can't do much fucking worse. No. I couldn't imagine
I would
the
love
regular
to see this
Joe.
in small action. Like, I would love to see this tried.
So there is a, I think it might just be a district of Detroit. There are examples of it. I came across a thread today, which is what really sparked it for me. Because I was already thinking, like, do we really need them? Like, if we just defunded them completely?
I saw a couple places that they cut the contract with the schools, public school systems. And
like Minneapolis cut the contract with the police, and then, but no, there are cities or townships. I'm pretty sure it's Detroit, and I can do some research, and I can post the link in our description. But
I think I know what you're talking about.
But they privatized.
They got like a Detroit, a Detroit group of people that kind of police their own neighborhood and shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's basically.
See, I'm gonna throw out an example, just a hypothetical of where that could go wrong, and I'm gonna throw it out in a place like Georgia, for example, where a young man was just gunned down by a bunch of hillbillies in the fucking back of a truck.
Right.
I hear you.
Example of that going wrong.
Well, here's my point. Here's my
like
point. Here's my drop in the bucket.
But in my mind, Matt, that's in the current system. So how can it be any worse in a new system?
I mean, those guys were outside them. They were private citizens just taking it upon themselves to let's police the neighborhood.
I hear you.
What was you about to say, Aaron?
That for the African American community, that used to work. Kind of, like,
I mean, that's what the Panthers did, right?
When it came down to it, like, they didn't really talk. The police used to just come talk to, like, the people they knew, maybe, or whatever, but you're not really gonna get nothing out of nobody because there's somebody in that neighborhood who kind of runs everything. I'm not gonna call him a kingpin. Maybe he's just a community leader, right?
Right.
Before I go do this, I go holler at this dude, you know what I'm saying, make sure everything's cool, whatever. But, like, if there's somebody in this neighborhood that's a pedophile or something, we can all just go ahead and be like, we can get this nigga out of here ourselves, so we don't have to call the police.
Right.
Make the fucking move. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit like that. And I can see what you're saying about, people having too much power in their hands. And like I said, the solution might not be it, but we gotta start looking at other options.
Right.
Basically.
I mean, I think that at the end of the day, that's my point. Is we've tried to fix the system. We've tried to fix the police. I don't know that you can.
Have we?
Because that dude was an ex-police when you think about it. The dude that did it anyway, he was an ex-police.
Right.
So he was like, shit, I already know what this is. It's a black dude running with a hood in a white neighborhood. I mean,
right.
That was his motive.
And, the silver lining to this is, while that happened, back in January, February, and it just became public knowledge in, like, early May, those guys are all arrested now.
Yeah, my problem is that we've seen arrests.
All of them. So again, going back to what we ended on in the last one, like, what was it? Even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, those 4 cops in Minneapolis would still be on the job or suspended with pay,
like the ones in
Buffalo. Like that.
Listen, let me tell y'all something, especially to the store owners that are whining about the destruction. Don't fix your stores until after the conviction. Because if you think this is a riot, if you think this is looting, if you think that the preacher himself won't be out there throwing bricks through windows if they get a not guilty plea, if you think there won't be guns on the street, now that's when you talk about the good old boys coming for a war.
Oh, no doubt.
Let it be a not guilty plea, and let's see what you want to talk about. The city burning.
So much social pressure on them. There's so much social pressure right now.
There was social pressure in
really
Ferguson.
Started flaring up. They slapped the arrest warrants on the filed charges on the other 3 guys.
I hear you.
It was just the one guy at first, and then as soon as things really started getting out of control, where was it, like Tuesday, Wednesday? They were like, okay, we got to really set an example here.
I hear you.
And so,
but
again, I think there's just too much social pressure right now to let this go any further.
And I would cite Ferguson. I would cite there have been plenty of instances where there's been social pressure and they've still gotten off. Right, it was 4 years ago.
That was 6 years ago. 4 years ago, whatever it was, man. I mean, times change. We're living in this exponentially growing ability for people to, view things like and have the video. Everybody's under the microscope now.
Everybody has had the video before, though.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not the same set of. I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, Matt, I understand what you're saying, but you sound like one of those white people that are shocked that the police are planting bricks. Like, this has been going on forever. We are not held to the same. I'm just trying to
play devil's advocate here. It's
we're
like
not
it's
held
getting
to the
better,
same
but
set
I
of
mean,
rules,
there's still problems. Don't get me wrong.
Man, this shit been going on my whole life.
But beyond your life,
right?
Beyond.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm saying, like, from being a youngster, every time the police got behind my dad, he would be like, "Oh shit."
No doubt.
I learned from there. Like, okay, so the police. Oh shit.
Right.
Every time we just look in the mirror.
It's not a regular exchange.
And we've had video evidence before. I mean, shit. The Buffalo example is a perfect example. They said he tripped and fell, and there was video evidence to the contrary.
Right. They're always gonna say.
But it was reversed within 6 hours? 6 hours later, like,
they still haven't admitted anything.
There's too much video evidence, and they
still haven't fired them.
What? They've got their little GoPro cameras on, so they can, quote, be held accountable. That's our responsibility to keep them under the microscope.
Shits off.
Well,
cameras on them all the time, so they're not the only ones with the footage.
And I agree with you, and that's where my point from last week comes into play. That shit should be auto-uploaded to the cloud immediately to a separate department, a separate group, etc.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only...
their footage and our footage.
That's the only option. And then you got to find a way to tear down that blue wall of silence. And like I was saying before...
Actually, that's a good point. Did you see that faith leaders in Columbus published, like, a book of letters from officers who have made complaints that have been silenced from CPD?
Right.
So that's not to say there aren't good officers. It's that good officers are getting buried, or they're not good enough to stand above it.
No. A good officer isn't a snitch. See, it works both ways. That's what people don't understand. Is the streets can't snitch and the officers can't snitch. That's clear. Now, if you're an officer and you're watching something bad happen and you choose not to intervene, but then to tell superior officers, you're not a good officer.
Because you didn't stop it. I hear you.
Period. You get much more respect when you stop it dead in its tracks.
Or you get fired on the spot, which is what's typically happens.
And there's a chance that I may be from this letter.
Yeah.
But right now I have a badge on, so I'm immune. You feel what I'm saying? So I can take action right now. Whether that be grab you up, put you against the car and say, don't do that shit in front of me. Yeah. Or it'll go down. Until this badge comes off, I'll fuck you up.
Right. I agree. No, that's a good point.
But when I go back and I say, well, let me write a letter to the governor, you're a bitch. You're a bitch and you're a snitch. And I don't respect you because you're snitching on the people that you chose this.
For those that are fans, there's a song called Snitch Bitch from Empire. Well, I'm talking about the TV show.
Empire?
Yeah.
Well, it's the truth, though.
Lucius.
You're absolutely right.
You
I was trying to tell
on.
people that, am I fucking up?
No,
you're good.
Good?
No, I was trying to tell people that, I was trying to explain to people what conspiracy to murder is, right? So them officers saw this man. He's on his neck for 5 minutes. Come on, or 10 minutes. Come on, you know what I'm saying? If you're not going to do nothing then, you're going to take these charges. This is going to have to happen because you're going to get conspiracy because you could have easily just been like, hey, look, let me holler at you real quick.
Right, get up.
Just put him in the car.
Get up.
You know what I'm saying? Get up off of them. If you have to push them off of them, this has to be your last day. Be your last day. But if you're crying about, I got to go to jail for this, yeah, it's conspiracy to murder, you dumbass. You just watched this man kill him. You watched him lose his breath. He didn't do shit. You go to jail. And you should be proud of it because you ain't snitching your boy. You roll with your people.
It shouldn't have taken 10 days for them to come to that conclusion with these three assholes.
Exactly. You sat there and watched them do it. It's like me watching you getting checked out, Cliff. Yeah, that would never happen.
Because they
Or
thought
any
they
of y'all,
could
be honest
scapegoat
with
it to
you. Any
one
of y'all
person.
get choked
See,
out. I'm not letting that happen.
Right.
I'm not letting that happen. I'm going out. That's what's happening.
That has to happen. But regardless of the fact, we keep over. But I would like to say cheers to that. That's why you wanted my till the ends. Of course. But
Yeah.
what I was saying was we keep overstepping the issue. Everybody keeps saying it shouldn't have taken this long to convict, but the issue is, why does it keep happening in the first place?
Yeah.
Why do we have to worry about the officer's consequence to taking the life of people that look like me? You know what I mean? Like, we're worried about what's going to happen, a conviction, but the fact is, lives are taken constantly. Doesn't matter if you're in your own home, if you're sleeping.
Right.
It doesn't matter where you are. Lives are being taken. So at some point, it's like, what the fuck is going on? And right now, it seems like we have allies in a sense that we're all standing in a protest, but we're not all standing for the same thing. There's a lot of people that are thinking just like this. The conviction. Fuck the conviction. The issue is our children. I'm not worried about this instance, this police officer. I'm worried about instances to come.
Where it's still coming. Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, I mean, it's got to start somewhere. And hopefully you see it with this case. You see it with the Ahmaud Arbery case. You start to... Like, if we get a round of convictions from the most recent 3 or 4... then you can start to have a spark of hope. I'm not saying that means it's done, but you can start to say that maybe things are moving in the right direction.
My shield's going up even higher. My shield's not coming down. It's going up even higher. I'm thinking they're only doing this because we're acting an ass.
Because everybody's paying attention right now. Yeah.
They're going to be going back, so keep it pushing.
Well,
keep your foot on the neck.
I heard about an act they're trying to push, that somebody was trying to push through Congress, where it will now become a federal felony for any police officer to take action, for it to be found unlawful for them to take. I'm talking like a life sentence kind of thing for something like this. Not just a third-degree murder charge where they're going to skate in 5 years. It's, if you do this kind of shit, you're going down kind of act. Has anybody heard about this?
It's like being a boxer, though. Once you're a boxer, once you become a professional boxer, tell me if I'm wrong, but if you beat somebody's ass, you get a way worse charge.
Right.
This is what you do.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I throw hands for a living.
Deadly weapon at that point.
Honestly, the first step is to abolish qualified immunity. That's the first step, is abolish qualified immunity.
I don't know what that means. If I'm
qualified immunity is what basically gives government officials or people acting on behalf of the government basically the authority to fuck up, as long as they can say that their heart was in the right place, or they felt they were in danger.
Like the fear, as long as I can prove I was in fear, I was okay with shooting. First of all, you bitch ass,
and the whole point of,
pussy.
at least the point of the act that I heard these people discussing. No, go ahead.
First off, if you're in as much fear as the person that you're arresting, your bitch pussy ass shouldn't be behind that badge. It's the same way as a military officer. You think a military officer can curl up and be like, I was scared, so I just started shooting everywhere. No, you're putting everybody at risk now. That's what every officer is doing when you do that shit. Your scary ass is putting people at risk, and you're showing us that you bleed as we do, which isn't a good idea. Matthew?
No, go ahead. No, finish. I just got a point. I don't want to forget.
I was just about to say that's not a good idea, especially when you're at a situation where your back's against the wall. See, right now, I hate to put it to an analogy of animals, but it's kind of like your dog. You know what I mean? You keep fucking your dog over until that dog bites back one day, and they're like, oh shit, you're not as tough as I thought you were.
Right.
Now I'm about to tear you apart. And that's what we're going through right now, is we're learning y'all aren't as tough as we thought y'all were, and you're about to get torn apart unless you choose to go down the proper path. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. They have to call in the National Guard. That's because y'all are pussy.
Well, there's definitely the argument that has been made over and over and over again about how police are not trained properly. They are not
True.
given the proper tools, before they hit the street.
But that doesn't take the pussy out of you.
Yeah, well, I mean, seriously, I think the training would weed out the pussies. And this actually brings me back to the point I was about to make. And it's actually one that I've been struggling with since for a long time now, but it really started, like, I've been ruminating on it for, a week and a half now, is do we want military personnel, ex-military personnel, to be police officers? Because they've been, hold on a second, let me finish.
No, I was getting my turn in.
You're on deck.
I got you.
Aaron's on deck. All right, so I got to think about this a long time ago. Is so that I've heard really good arguments for it. That people in the military have been under fire. They've been under serious fire. They have trigger discipline. They have all this, the actual combat experience. They've been in way worse situations than just, getting in a scuffle with somebody on the street.
Right.
So they know when to pull the trigger, and, they're trained much better, hand-to-hand combat, all that stuff, like down the checklist. They are more prepared for intense situations.
Right.
Now, the flip side of that gets me worried is shit like PTSD. Are they going to have some sort of a flashback middle of, like an intense situation and just start gunning people down?
Right.
Are they going to bring any kind of bullshit, any kind of baggage from the military back with them? That's the kind of stuff, and the whole idea of militarizing the police force, which we've already done, but doing it even more.
But in my mind, that's the problem, though, is that we've militarized them without training them like the military.
But
that's a fantastic flip to that argument. Thank you, Mike.
And
Aaron,
go ahead,
But all I was gonna say about that is that there's a thing about having a gun that people kind of skip over. There's a responsibility to it, yes, but I think we've all been gun owners, all in here. And as soon as you get your gun, one of the first things you want to do is shoot it, right? And some people get like itchy, they want the reason to shoot. Oh, so this guy might be doing this, I'm gonna shoot.
Right.
I don't think that's hard to train out of people, because even in the military, I'm pretty sure there's some people that they like, look, he's a shooter, but we gotta calm him down sometimes. He's a little too quick.
That was
he's a little too anxious.
That was Tyler's point. That was Tyler's point last week, was that any firearm that they owned in the military, they had to recertify and retrain on it every 6 months, whereas police officers do not have to.
But I think what he's getting at
one
is
year on the range, and it's a very easy test.
And I'm thinking
by comparison.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like the fun, like when you're a kid and you get a toy. The first thing you want to do is play with it, right? And you don't only want to just play with it. You want to put it to the real test.
Right.
You want to take that Tonka truck outside in the dirt and try to pick some shit up with it.
Right.
It's a Tonka truck. You better pick up some motherfucking dirt. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I get from.
5 to 50, our minds don't change as men. It's fine.
Is that right?
Is that what they say? The second part of that is I encourage every American to, if you don't have a firearm, at least for self-protection or something, just get you a firearm while they're still available to get.
I agree.
Because the stock is getting wiped through, and who's to say that this whole situation doesn't really get.
Real quick.
He said what?
Yeah, I know, but who's gonna be able to buy them? That's all I'm saying. Why? I'm in Georgia, right? I can buy all types of shit in Georgia right now. Like the laws are very loose. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure y'all know, but I feel like there's going to come a point where they're going to like restrict some of those laws. So I kind of encourage people, just in case there is a martial law situation,
New York,
right? That's what I'm saying. But like, if there's a martial law situation where I got 20 people at my door talking about need to come outside, come with us, and I don't want to go, it's always option B.
Listen.
Well, again, like this, the kind of the flip side of the Second Amendment argument. Like, are you really going to go toe to toe with National Guard that have way better stuff than you got? Even if you got the whole arsenal of
depending on the circumstances.
Right.
Think about the circumstances. What are you picking me up for?
Right.
If it's something I know I'm not going to come back from, I might as well just go now.
And then let me explain.
Or if I can't, I might get it.
Right. Yeah, you said you hit the nail on the head right now. See, black people in this country are already we already question everything. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people that have the idea that just to be taken in a situation like that, you may not come back from. So it's not that easy of a choice when you think like that and know that the situation has escalated from police kill you all the time to now they brought in a professional force to.
Right.
If I know that people less than them were killing me all the time, what do I expect? I know you're not here to sing happy birthday and blow out candles with me. So where it's almost like me going with you is giving you my life at that point. So why not
in your hands at that point?
Why not go out on my terms and make sure some of y'all come with me if this is what y'all gonna do to my brothers and sisters?
It is not just like go out. It's more or less just a display of the fact that you can't push me around. Like, even if the situation ends peacefully, if I come outside, I'm like, look, I'm not going.
You know what? I meant to bring that up too, and it's not always true, but I've seen it firsthand, and it's 85% true that
60% of the time it works every time.
Works all the time.
Listen, I've noticed, and I've seen it firsthand too. I've been in situations.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've been in situations where I've seen police officers pick with the weak one. If they know that you may...
I mean, I think our trip to Sandusky was some example of that to begin with, and then you stood up and kind of took the heat for everybody.
Listen,
not to put us on blast or incriminate us. We'll talk about it offline.
I went to jail. But
I wasn't there.
I went to jail and was abused. But it's if a cop thinks that you're the one that's gonna cause them problems, they're not so quick to abuse authority. Because the bottom line is right. The bottom line is, if what you're saying is true, that I did have some fear, which is why I pulled the trigger, then you know just as much as I know this situation can go left for you just as fast as it can go left for me.
Well, and that's their argument.
And if you walk up, it's always... I don't listen. I'm not the type of person that'll ever get disrespectful, but I will be firm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I know.
And when people see that, like, oh, okay, I'm not just talking to one of them, it usually does change the way
it changes the dynamic.
Go.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not cussing
Your
at
respect
you or anything
level
like that.
goes up.
But listen, don't play with me. I won't play with you. Let's keep it straight here.
Yeah.
What you need from me, I'll let you know what I have.
Yeah.
But I'm not here for games.
Right.
Because I have no problem.
So either take me in or let me go.
Or cause some problems.
Right.
See where they get you. It's up to you. We're all free people here. Bust a move.
Hey, Cliff, remember when somebody we knew, like, you told me the story, so I wasn't there. But somebody we both know had got robbed, and everybody came out strapped up, guns out, sticks out, everything. Police would ride by and be like, you know what?
Yeah, not today.
It's not even worth it, man. Look, right. Man, we got Glock 22s, man. They got fucking AKs out here.
And you'd be surprised how many of them pull off like that too.
We need a lot of backup.
Listen,
it's not worth it. You can pay $45,000 a year.
It is.
Fuck that. Let's go get some food.
So act right. Act right before you have problems. So the next time it may be worse, and fuck looting, come straight to the police precinct. Everybody go straight to the police precinct. It's between me and you now. Just us and you. Nobody else. Not Saks Fifth. Not the corner store that we busted the window. No, just me and you. Just mano y mano. Because y'all don't know how to act. Let's show you. It's not that tough. It's not that tough. It's not that tough.
Royal Rumble in that bitch. Come out there with chains and pipes.
Listen, whatever you see. Listen, you see the white folks going to City Hall
put the weapons
with the
down,
straps.
man.
That gets
results.
That gets results. You see, when Ahmaud Arbery got gunned down and the Black Panthers came out there the following week, police didn't want to come back in that neighborhood. Yeah,
It's not worth it.
it gets results.
It's not worth it.
It doesn't matter.
Let's
I
go
don't
pick on
care
this dude
how
by
you look
himself.
at it. And let me be honest, the white people that feel a certain kind of way about the situation, fuck them. They don't matter anyway. We're not on the same team. We're not on the same team, and we can't keep trying to fight to get you on our team because we're wasting time trying to win. We need to win. We can't afford that. You know what I mean?
Still be playing the game.
Right. We
I
can't
got a
afford to be
question.
recruiting extra teammates. No, are you on or not? Otherwise, we got a win to get.
I got a question. So how y'all feel? I just seen Roger Goodell had like apologized for his stance, like the anthem protest. Now, how much of that do you think is I want people to come to these football games and not protest?
No. What I think it all comes back to money.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But the protests fuck up your money.
Nope. The black players in the league.
I want everybody to come to the games because we're hurting financially. And
please, I don't care if they knee or lay down. They can sit Indian style while we do
it. Come back to the stadium.
It's because the players banded together and called his ass out. And on top of that, behind the scenes, they were saying, we're not going to play. You won't have a season.
Speaking of, shout out Mikey Williams.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Mikey Williams?
No, I didn't see that.
You don't know who Mikey Williams is?
No.
He's #1 basketball recruit out of class of 2023.
Oh, is he one of the ones that's starting to say he's only going to consider HBCUs?
Yes, sir. He was.
I think that's brilliant, by the way.
He played, but there's a downside to this too. He played for LeBron James' son's team, and he was the star of the team. So, no, I think LeBron James' son's 2024, not 2023. But Mikey Williams is like the real deal. Like he's gonna be #1 draft pick or whatever year he comes out of the league. But the only downside is you took too long to do this.
He waited until all this shit
Not
went
even
down,
him, just generations in general. Like now we got the whole situation where the D League's willing to pay you that $500,000 a year to bypass your first year of college to go straight. So it's like even
pro,
it wouldn't make sense to go to the HBCU either if I know I'm only going to the league.
Right.
That's my
there's one advantage
that I'm going.
There's one advantage.
What?
I mean, there is.
You're not gonna get a degree.
There are some students that actually want to go to class. I'm not saying this dude does.
Right.
But like if you find somebody that's talented, that's also smart, that wants to go to a HBCU, because there's been a lot of, I won't say Walter Payton went to HBCU if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of stars that came out of that system.
Right. And
to bring that money back would be great. And I think that's a possibility because not everybody's that good just to go straight to the dude might be good on his AAU team, granted, right? But we ain't seen him play against no big, grown men and no shit like that.
Mikey Williams is 16 years old, and you could put him in the league right now. He is better than 75% of the bench players.
He's that good. How tall is he?
At this moment, I think he's like 6'4".
Okay.
He's
like a sophomore right now. Right?
Yeah, he's only like 16. He's been dunking since he was 13, 14 years old. And he's not
There's a lot of niggas in the hood that have been dunking since 13, 14 years old.
Right.
I don't know that that's a differentiator.
Listen, not like Mikey. You got to look up Mikey Williams.
All right.
You got to look
I'm going to look him up.
Williams.
Because I know what Jalen Green is.
He's a killer.
I know Josh Christopher is. I know they had a nice little AAU team.
Oh yeah.
Julian Newman and some other people. I watch basketball, so I'm gonna check him out, man. If he's that good, I just know some niggas niggas be saying LeBron James' son is going straight out of high school to the NBA. He's not. I've seen him play.
No way. He still has time, but he's a lot more passive. He's not the same killer his dad was, but he's definitely more all around.
No, he's a good basketball player. He can play. He can play at
a very young
Kentucky or
age,
some shit,
or
Kansas.
He's not the same killer LeBron was. That's what it comes down to.
Well, he's not as hungry because of his situation.
He doesn't.
His dad is
have to be
rich.
He's fed.
Right.
LeBron wasn't fed. Listen, this is my only shot. I gotta make this. That's not how he feels.
Meanwhile, he's like, well, I guess if I don't make it, I could live with dad.
It's not a lot of kids that are. It's not a lot of kids that are vice versa. The only one that I'll say is close is Dennis Rodman's son.
Oh yeah.
He has a shot to be shitting on his father. He already looks great. Have you seen him?
No.
Steph Curry though.
You're right. But no, because Dale wasn't Dennis Rodman.
Dale wasn't that good.
Yeah,
Dale wasn't
and
that
it wasn't
goddamn
even you
good.
weren't
I get
that
that,
rich. You know what I mean? Like Dale was.
Dennis was also never an MVP. Steph was MVP, and he
But
won.
that's
Finals
different
MVP.
though, because Dale is just a like of course he has money, but you're not of wealth. You know what I mean? It's not lavish lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you brought Steph into a situation where it was like, yeah, I can get you this whatever card you want at 16 type shit. You know what I mean? Like
Dale was getting a little bit of break. He probably made about $30 million in his career.
I'm
Probably
sure
about
he
30
made
million.
decent money, but it wasn't LeBron money. What I'm saying is someone that has anything you want around him. You think Dennis Rodman's son didn't have anything he wanted around him? Anything
Based
he wanted?
upon his dad's lifestyle, I'm not sure what that nigga had.
But I'm saying, regardless, like when you got people, that's what it is. It's the people that have anything they want already that have hard times finding the inspiration to be great.
Well, yeah, then why work?
I don't think Steph quite qualifies as anything.
And that's a historical sentiment, man. I mean, we've seen that since the beginning of time.
Right,
the
right.
people that struggle always fought harder than everybody else, and they won. And then once they got to power, their kids just don't have the same respect.
And they
Michael Jordan's kids, number one.
They try.
Michael Jordan's kids.
It's not like they don't try to be great. They just don't have the same fire. They're not in the same situation.
Look, Dad, you bought me a Benz when I was 16. I'm cool.
Sugar Shane Mosley.
And this brings up a fantastic offshoot of a point is that how good is how much do you want your kids to have it better than you had? Because it's gonna make them soft.
Well,
I'll say this. I don't mean to jump the gun, but I'll say this. You can still teach character in your kids.
Right.
You can still teach character. That's something that. Yeah, but if
there's something about the struggle though.
Well, I'm gonna say this. My dad is a successful person. You know what I'm saying? He's not broke, nothing like that. But I definitely had a job when I was 14. And I definitely didn't get no money for clothes, no shit like that. You had to buy my own clothes.
Right.
I had to work. I couldn't call off from work. If I called off from work, my mom would be like, this nigga's not sick. I'm finna bring him down there right now. I'm gonna drop him off. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was. So, yeah, my dad had some money. He didn't really share it a lot, but he had money. But he always kept it like, look, I can't take care of you for your whole life. You gotta do what you gotta do. So I've done things I probably shouldn't have done because of that. But at the same time, I work hard. I'm laid off because of obvious reasons.
Right.
But I work hard. Like when I go to work, I don't call off. You can ask motherfuckers. I'll be at work 3 years straight. Won't call off. Be there sniffling and shit, hungover or whatever. But I'm at work because I need this check. You know what I'm saying? Now some people that you baby your kids, they do something wrong and you pay for it, or they want this, you just give it to them. I remember I wanted them phone posits. The phone posits that Penny came out with, they were like $200 or some shit like that.
Okay.
My dad took me to Foot Locker. He was like, so what shoe do you want? I was like, let me get them phone posits. He was like, these are $200. Like, are you retarded? Like,
what's wrong with
you? I'm talking about the most hysterical laugh of embarrassment ever. I'm talking about he was just laughing hard, bent over, like, why do you think I would buy you $200 shoes? What have you done to deserve $200 shoes? Which when you grow up, you think about like, I don't even buy $200 shoes to this day because of that. Because what do I need $200 shoes for?
Right.
Yeah.
What does that
shit do for me? I'm like, why did I spend more than 50?
I'll tell you what.
I like Air Maxes.
I'll spend $120 on a pair of shoes, but that's because my fat ass. If I don't spend $120 on shoes to actually like work out in and run in,
you got knee problems.
I'm gonna my feet will be blistered.
The only way I spend over $100 on a pair of shoes is if it's like Red Wing fucking amazing work boots that are gonna last me 5 years.
Oh, I hear you on that.
We buy useful things. We buy useful things for.
Right.
For
they have to have
prices.
the utility, or I'm not doing it.
Yeah. No. Plus, like you spend $200, $250 on a good pair of Red Wings, man. Those fuckers are gonna last.
Right.
Yeah, years. You might pass them down to yourself. What size shoe you wear? 10. Got some shoes for right there. Vintage Red Wings.
That's my other problem is that in order to get shoes that actually fit, they're all 13 extra wide, and if I don't get extra wide, then it ain't gonna work. And at that point,
dude, I straight shop online now, man. I don't even bother going to the shoe store anymore.
I'm with you.
I'm size 14. I'm size 14. Don't never have my shit.
I'm with you.
Even ask no
I'm with you. I size up to 14 if I can't find.
They never have it.
I size up to 14 if I can't find extra wide. So I'm with you. Oh man. So what were
the shirt came off.
Yeah, I had to listen.
In his defense, it's hot in here.
It's hot as hell up here. But what I will say is I wore this again this week because I did not shout out my brother's podcast, the fucking Nobody's podcast. Let me make sure that's straight in the building.
My nigga.
You know what I'm saying? Come support, do all that jazz, whichever way. Get at it. Check it out.
Appreciate it.
Now, it would be nice if you guys would give us a shot at some point.
Oh, yeah. You got it on the way.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Together. I got something in the works.
So what else?
You guys gotta get me one because I'm tired of fucking Carhartt shirts.
Stop it. Y'all are Do Fools Agree family, so.
Oh yeah, no. When we make the first round up, Cliff said he would follow up on that. I haven't heard anything back yet.
I'm still trying to get some things together because we need dimensions and all that for him to give us a.
I mean, we've got good artwork that's like way oversized that he should be able to use.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The shit that Tony, and if you don't have the actual files, let me know. I'll shoot them over.
That might be the.
And shout out to our boy Tony again. Tony did some pro bono work for me this week in terms of just resubmitting some of the stuff because I needed some edges taken out for those that are looking on the YouTube page. We got a new layout for the video and all that. And
I like that
better. You know I like that shit, so.
Hey, your boy Tony Nice, man. I linked up with him.
Oh, did you?
And
he's a good dude.
Yeah, he sent me some sketches.
Awesome.
I told him, yeah, he's nice, man. He's nice. Cool dude.
I fucks with
professional.
Oh, no, very professional.
He ain't charged me nothing crazy.
I need to talk to him about my little setup when I get running.
Oh, yeah, getting you maybe like a logo for your...
So what all does Tony do besides, artwork for podcasts and stuff?
I mean, he's a graphic designer by trade, so I think he's doing like just basically contract and freelance work right now. His style, obviously, I think our artwork is at least for the podcast cover art and the Do Fools Agree logo, I think is kind of his style. He likes the cartoonish art. I think all his shit's slick. Yeah, exactly. And then he also did the Foolproof Entertainment Network logo that we were using too. So I think he did a great job with both. And I mean, if anybody needs his contact info, hit me up. I got it. And he does. I'm always happy to support another black enterprise.
We need allies, my brother. We appreciate it.
Oh man! So what else are we talking about tonight? I kind of wanted to talk.
I do want to ask Cliff this question. This is short yes or no question. Zara, we got their answer. Have you ever bought a $200 pair of shoes?
A $20 pair of shoes?
$200. He's having to think about it.
Now, I bought a $200 pair of shoes on sale. I'm talking
about pay $200 for a pair of shoes.
No.
Pay $200 cash on the table for some shoes.
He's thinking about it.
Brand new Jordans, when they first came out.
No, I'm not that kind of dude. No, I'm not. That's not my style. No, I don't. No, I've never. I've probably been close. Like I might have gone as high as 150, maybe, but no.
Hey, I'm doing my first Fools Agree. It's my first Fools Agree. It's my first Fools Agree right here. Everybody agrees.
I'm not a
$200 pair of shoes.
That's not my style.
Ridiculous.
That's not my style, G.
I went to school with a guy who had a real problem to spend $200 a week on fucking shoes.
I mean, I know. I know people like that are wild with it, but like with designer shoes and all that. Like, and those designer shoes. Some of them is right. Some of them is $900, like for men's shoes.
And they feel like
dude, I do that.
They feel like Skechers. They feel like Skechers.
I've never put them on. I don't even want to. I'm not interested. And then usually
it's a shirt.
They're not even they're not even like I don't like the way they look. You know what I mean? It'd be different if I like the way they look.
They got a bunch of spikes on it. Why'd you buy these shoes?
All kinds
You're
of
retarded.
Just dumb.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I
Now,
didn't understand why you would wear something like that out
With
to
that
the
being said, I
bar
wouldn't
where
mind
you know
getting the
they're gonna get
business.
fucked up.
Right.
Bitches. Bitches.
I don't think you know they're gonna get fucked.
Crazy.
up.
But it's bitches though.
Because
You
the
want
same way
the
the
bitches
I
to
see
see you in
people
the
like
shoes.
lose their shit,
'Cause the
start
same way the
fights in the
bitches
bar
do the
because
duck
you scuffed
lips.
their brand new fucking Nikes, and it's just like, what did you think was gonna happen?
I thought I was gonna get some
Dudes do the
bitches.
duck walk. All of their heels.
I came here to get bitches, and you fucked my
No,
plan
no.
up by stepping on my shoes.
But he had like 5 bitches, and then he started a fight because he got shit on his shoes, and now they all gone.
Maybe that's why they put spikes on them, so when you step on them, you're like,
Ow,
shit,
son
let me
of a
watch out for
bitch.
that man's designer
Right.
fucking Gucci.
I don't understand it.
That's all. I don't know.
So I did want to chat because we didn't get to it last week, and you know if this is the point where Cliff tunes out, I get it.
Oh no, I'm good.
But I did want to talk about Dune. So Dune is a sci-fi novel
Yeah,
from like
explain
the 50s or
Give
60s
Aaron some context.
by an author by the name of Frank Herbert. It's actually pretty quotable source material in terms of the book. And you know, it's one of those sci-fi properties that I've been told my whole life that, oh, you like Star Trek, you should read Dune. Oh, you like Star Wars, you should read Dune. Oh, you like this, you should read Dune. And I just never had. And so about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I bought it off of Amazon because, you know, we're all locked up and everything, and I've been reading a fair amount. Like, I just finished another book series. It was called
I should probably read.
It was called The Band and the Banished, and it's a sci-fi series. For those that are fans of things like Lord of the Rings, if you like the Lord of the Rings books, I think you would like The Band and the Banished. Dune, on the other hand, like, talking about, you know, Star Wars or Star Trek, like, I don't necessarily know that you would like Dune.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's a very trailer.
It's a very interesting premise. You watched the trailer for the 1984 movie. Oh, the 1984 movie is hokey as fuck.
Okay, so that
That's not just
oh
you.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. So my number one question for you, Mike, because I never read the book, is how does the book compare to the movie?
So here's the thing with the movie, like watching it for the first time, because I had never seen the movie, even though that's again like people said, oh, you should see Dune. You would, I mean, if you like X, Y, and Z, you'll like that. The movie. I'm
gonna disagree right there because that
agree.
movie don't hold up.
It does not. It does not. So I watched it. Now I think I understand what they were going for with the movie, like visual effects wise and that kind of thing. Actually, watching the movie though, it doesn't give you any of the character development that the book gives.
I would
Which
imagine
is why,
because I was looking at the trailer like these are the aliens. They just look like fat
they just
dudes
look
with
like
herpes.
human, right? Yeah.
Like with bumps all over their face, like
The Harkonnens they've just got like boils on their face,
right?
right?
Like regular people with the plague.
Well, that's kind of the main critique about Star Trek too, is that everybody in the universe is somehow humanoid.
Right.
You know, like slight differentiation between everybody.
I see what you're saying. Never thought about that.
And I agree with that. And actually, it's funny because I think Cliff, you actually texted me this week. Like, have you ever seen the Orville?
Have you seen that, cuz? The Orville?
Yeah. What you talking about?
The dude from Family Guy?
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane's version of Star Trek.
I watched
an
episode, but I'm not really into that. My brother was in the Star Trek like a motherfucker. Like if I get Mike and my brother in the room, y'all would talk for hours.
Oh, I bet.
Hour-long conversation.
I'm not into it either, and when I say that is my favorite show out right now.
Well, and the thing is they've been stalling on season 3 for like months.
So I think they canceled it.
Did they straight up cancel it?
Did they? Did
I
they?
know
That
thought
was
that's
one
what
of
happened.
my questions. Is if they.
I mean, the 2 seasons that they put out, what I think will happen is like every other Seth MacFarlane show. It'll get popular in its reruns and on streaming, and then it'll get picked back up.
Man, listen, he's genius. And some of those episodes are deep.
Yeah.
Like on some deep shit, like explaining what's going on right. Did you see the one where they were praising Kelly?
Oh
I said, now
where they
that's
treated her like a god.
like she was Jesus.
Yep.
I said, now that's deep right there.
Nah, there was plenty of stuff like that.
Listen,
man.
that one season, I wrote it down. Season 1, episode 7.
You're gonna have to refresh me because I
majority
watched them when
vote.
they came up. Oh yeah,
Where
the
people
social network
voted on
planet.
I feel like that's where we're at right
Right.
now.
I agree.
Black
They
Mirror?
voted on TV.
No,
It
this
would
was
pop
the
up.
Orville. But basically, people were convicted based on the popular vote, or like laws were made based on the popular vote in real time.
So you have to wear a badge that would have.
I wonder if Black Mirror.
Oh, your amount of likes on it.
Right.
Yeah, Black Mirror had
Black
an
Mirror
episode
did
like
something
that. He's
similar
right,
like that, too.
Your likes determine how you were accepted in society, some shit like
Yeah,
that.
your social standing.
And
Yeah.
if you,
I was
if
real
you
drunk when I seen that episode.
exceeded-
I remember
Dude,
saying.
that was one of the first. That was the first episode I watched, and that had I watched 2 more, and I couldn't watch that show anymore because
What
it was
season was
hitting
that?
way too close to home.
What season was
I
that?
watched a lot of that
No,
shit.
I don't know.
Dude,
what
have you
season
like-
heard
it's like-
they actually cut? They cut season 3 of Black Mirror because of the coronavirus, and it was going to be way too close to home, and they were like, "We can't fucking air this shit right now."
Well, how they know about that shit?
I don't
How
know.
they know about it beforehand?
They said everything
I mean,
that
that
they
show
put
is
in
really, like,
TV
always
movies is based on
Pushing
some
way
form
too
of
close to
truth.
the
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
right on the money for how the
Hollywood
future
fuckers.
is
They
going
know
to play
what
out.
it is.
So,
Nah, man.
anyways, coming
Go
back because
Anyway, yeah,
Cliff-
sorry.
Cliff brought up the point around like them worshiping Kelly as a god. So that's actually kind of the premise behind Dune is that the sun. All right, so it's basically a galactic empire. So there are different planets, different families. It's a
Okay.
bit of an emperor. So the ruling class is an emperor, kind of a house of nobles,
Mhm.
and then it's just outside of that there's a company that's all about like profit. And you brought it up towards the end of last week. You thought it was funny that it took white people until the year 10,000 to understand what the importance of spice was.
Right.
So the whole book is about this family that is basically put in charge of the Spice Planet. And Spice has geriatric properties, and then what you find out throughout the course of the book is it's kind of like the Force, is that the spice gives you supernatural abilities. And in the case,
So you tell me
of-
Lowry's seasoned salt?
right,
Lowry's
right.
seasoned salt is the secret to life?
You got to have seasoned salt to be
May
the secret of life.
may not be secret of life, bro, but it may be the secret to your vertical.
It'll teach you. It'll teach you with the pressure, or it'll give you precognition.
They're opening your
basically.
eyes, man.
Listen.
So the whole book is about the family takes over this planet. The family is basically wiped out except the son and the mother. The son and the mother escape into the desert. So this planet where the spice is manufactured is nothing but desert. And there are people that nobody realizes actually live and work in the desert called the I think it's either Fremen or Freemen. And the Freemen have actually learned how to walk in the desert, and like they have suits that basically recapture the body's moisture, and then they drink it back in. Like it's all sorts of crazy shit.
Oh yeah, that's deep.
Arabs?
And so, I mean, I think there's commonalities
I
between
mean,
some
that
of the
make-
stuff they talk about in the book.
I see
but-
your
Basically, the
correlation.
son of the family that took over everything,
Uh-huh.
spoiler alert, he becomes the new emperor.
spoiler alert. This has been out for 40
For
years.
50
I was gonna watch that shit, Mike. I was gonna watch it, Mike. Damn.
And what I'm saying is,
Damn.
there's a new movie coming out this year. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to watch it.
Okay.
Was that they're remaking Dune in 2020. Denis Villeneuve, who did Arrival, he did Blade Runner 2049, and he did Sicario. Which, if you haven't seen Sicario, I think you would actually like Sicario.
I heard about that movie.
Yeah.
I heard about
I've
it. I ain't
the
watched it,
name
but I heard
before.
about it.
I don't know if I've heard about it, but I've heard that name.
It's basically about the Mexican cartels and that kind of thing.
Okay, then I know what you're talking
Is it?
about.
It's not Oscar Isaac. What's the dude's name? God damn it!
Benicio
del Toro. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Benicio.
Yeah, Benny Del
I know,
Toro.
yeah, I know that movie.
Yeah. So that's a good movie. He was the one that directed it. So he's doing Dune.
Oh.
And so I'm curious to see, one, because the 84 version was trash. Like, it just jumped around so much. There was zero character development. They did
I was
nothing.
about to shit on this whole segment just from that.
Just from the 84 movie.
The trailer.
Like I said, I watched the movie. I didn't like it. So, but the book is well worth
So just
it.
to clarify, there's a 60 something movie, an 80-something movie, a book, and they're coming out with a new one.
I don't think there was there might have been a 60s movie, but I know there was an 84
I don't
movie.
think so. I think it was the 80s one that was
The book came out in the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
there was
so
like six books that came out.
Okay, that may be the disconnect there. So,
you might have to give him a pass because of that. You might have to give him a pass because if it's the 50s and 60s, he doesn't know shit about space.
Bro, no doubt.
He doesn't know shit.
Some of the best sci-fi shit on the planet
he's
came
talking
out
about the author.
I was about to say, I don't know shit about space now. What the fuck?
But the whole principle behind...
You're not writing a sci-fi novel about space, though.
Right. So the whole principle behind this family and this kid that the book is about was that he was basically bred for this shit, except they didn't expect it to be his generation that had all these powers. They expected it to be the next generation. So it fucked the ruling powers' plans up. Mm-hmm. But the ruling powers had... like his mom was something, I think they call it like a Bene Gesserit. And
she was a witch.
She was a witch. But the witch in the sense that super mentally disciplined. So he was trained from birth to be able to see like little tells in people and those kind of things.
Right.
And one of the best quotes, and this is a quote that I've seen pop up in a couple of different places, and it was actually the reason why I wanted to read the book in the first place. But the quote is, "I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it is gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear is gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain."
Wasn't that in the movie too? But he whispered it to himself.
Right, exactly. Because that's the whole thing. It's a Bene Gesserit like saying. It's a mantra. And
I gotta say, when you get time to say all that shit, when you you're under some pressure. Like, you can say the whole paragraph. Like,
but that's the whole thing, is that when he's in moments of panic and pain, he recites that to himself, and it like solidifies and centers him against it. Exactly. So anyways, the whole point of this segment was basically to say, I think it's worth a read. I don't know that you'd want to read the whole series, but if you want to, if you're looking for something to read up on, Dune's a good one. I also think that it does make me optimistic for the movie because I'm curious to see what it would do in a modern setting and being modernized in the sense that 80s movies weren't big on character development. And like in the 80s movie, the main character, Muad'Dib, seems to think that he just seems to like be power hungry and like he wants it and he wants to go after it. In the book, he's much more conflicted. He's like, I've seen the future and I know if I take over, it ends in pain and torment for like the entire galactic empire.
You know what?
Well, then they shouldn't do a movie. They should do it episodically. They should make a Netflix series out of it.
And I think what they've actually said they're going to do is they're going to do a movie and then do a tag-on series.
So they got a lot of confidence in this.
That's what they're saying right now. But at the same time, if the movie
got a lot of money in this, that's what happened. They got a lot of money in it.
If the movie tanks, they won't do the series.
Right. Well, I mean, at this point, we've seen how successful a series can be.
Absolutely.
Just fucking skip the movie.
I honestly feel like the series can be more successful.
I completely agree. I think you look at what Star Wars is doing right now with The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm more of a TV guy anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I would actually rather see it as a series because I think they have enough material where each of the 6 books could be like it could be the next Game of Thrones in the sense that each season could be a book or a book and a half. A space version of Game of Thrones is what it would be.
Almost any story worth telling should be like drawn out over the course of each episode is a chapter.
As long as you don't draw it out.
There are a few exceptions. So like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, that kind of shit. Guy Ritchie movies, like those are amazing. I don't know if they're written off of books, but those are things that you take the entire premise of a book and crunch it down to 2 hours and bam, you got it. No,
and I agree with you. I think I'm with you in the sense that I don't know about every chapter being an episode, but like every 3 chapters being an episode, like taking a 28 chapter book and making it a 13 episode season. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to bring this full circle, Aaron, you should check out more than one episode of the Orville.
I agree.
You really should. Cause listen, you already know I am not no Star Trek, no kind of nigga like that. But when
I like the asexual Klingons that have.
I couldn't stand it. I almost turned.
I brought that up just to see your reaction.
I almost turned it off multiple times because of that.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
It's funny.
It's funny as hell.
And both seasons are really good. It
has the same genius as the Family Guy, where it's like this.
Without the randomness, I think it's actually
more American Dad-ish.
Yeah,
American Dad
is
less
more
random.
impressive that they can still have that same genius in a live action.
Yeah.
Specific to this topic.
Yep. No, I'm with you.
Like the episodes trip me out. Every episode trips me out. I'll be honest. Like it's like I can't believe that's.
There are at least one or two I'm pretty sure you skipped over.
About what?
Exactly what I just said.
I don't think I have.
The two Klingon looking dudes.
I didn't skip over them. Right. That's why I said I almost turned it off multiple times.
Where they turned their daughter into their son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
they don't believe.
Y'all shouldn't have told me that shit. Y'all, come on, man.
It's different. It's not.
Now you want.
It's not what you're thinking.
It's not.
It's not what you're thinking. It's not anything like that.
But it is a good show.
It is.
And I'm surprised you like it. So I thought that was.
Yeah, it is. It's not what you're thinking, but I guarantee you'll have the same sentiment I did, where it was like, I can't watch this because it wasn't anything like
egregious.
No, it's not anything like that. Like basically, they were a species where there were only men. The men laid eggs, and that's how they produced. But they would have partners, so it was man-on-man relationship. But the men would lay eggs. So what happened was the two men had a girl. There's no girls.
There are no girls in the society.
So what it was.
But what you find out is girls do get born.
Girls exist. They just changed the girls into men. So they made the baby change. Like they had a hearing, and the jury ruled the baby couldn't remain a female. Change it to a boy so they could continue on their race shit. But they're having like talks in bed with each other, like these two big brolic ass dudes.
They look like two dudes that look like Aaron, is what it is.
Having women conversations. And it's like
I don't want to see that.
It made me uncomfortable. It's
only like 2 episodes.
I'm gonna cut it on. I'm gonna watch it, and I'll just see how far I get.
And fair enough. And to Cliff's point, it is only 1 or 2 episodes that really focus in on that dynamic. I will say that
those 2 episodes. And Lord knows, I love gay people. I have no problem with gay people.
It doesn't mean you want to watch it.
Right, that wasn't the...
You're not the audience.
That wasn't even the issue. It was just... It was too much. It was just too much for me. I didn't...
Where the dude was cheating on him, he went to holodeck with a bunch of other dudes. It was holograms of a bunch of other dudes.
When was that? Oh, at the club. The club thing. Yeah, it was just... That was a lot.
It was just a lot.
But
I understand.
The show itself... I'm addicted to.
I mean, that's what the shame is that it's only 2 seasons, and
I am addicted.
I don't know, Matt. I don't know if they ended up canceling it or not. You might be right.
I hope not,
because it should have come out back in January and it didn't come back.
I'm addicted to that show. Like I come home and cut that, or I get off work and instead of picking up the game, I'll cut the show on and say.
I would love for Netflix to pick it up, honestly, rather than it being on Fox.
It's a good show.
Are there any other, I feel like there's been a couple of other good shows that have gotten cut early. I'm trying to think. Recent ones that I was like, oh, I like that. You think any offhand?
I'm surprised that I just renewed my Hulu is what it is, so I'm getting back hit to the shit. I'm surprised that Lethal Weapon is still going on with Stifler.
Yeah.
I stopped watching when Stifler came on.
See, I never watched it.
I watched it, but I liked the original Riggs, the original Mel Gibson character. I liked him. And then
The
when
dude
he
that-
goes
the dude
wrong-
back.
They didn't get along. I'm sorry, I'm my bad, but they didn't get along. That's why he left.
in real life.
I never watched the episode. In real life, they hated each other.
Okay.
They hate
I
each
can
other.
see
They
that.
they
can see that.
rebooted Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah, and it's not a bad show. It's not at all a bad show. They just switched they switched Mel Gibson 5 seasons in. So it's Damon Wayans is
Why can't they just leave Good Enough alone?
I mean, I get you, but it's not bad.
Because everything gets rebooted
It's
or
not bad.
They didn't need fucked with.
Well, once generations go by
God
for so
damn it,
long,
Hollywood.
they have to capture the new crowd.
Well,
with
that's the
it.
whole thing. I mean, that was the thing. Like, Lethal Weapon was a quintessential early 90s movie. Guess what? All the people that were of age in the early 90s, they all got kids now.
Right. So let's let the show out. Right. That
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah,
But it's
let's
not
watch.
bad.
Let's just
It's
do
not
try
bad.
to be Mel Gibson.
And it's Damon Wayans playing Murtaugh.
Right.
But he
Damon
looks like he
Wayans?
hates what he's doing.
Oh,
I've seen one episode,
Okay.
and he looked like he was like, man, why am I doing this shit?
Sometimes.
That's what it looks like to me.
Sometimes I can see where you're
With
at.
fucking Stifler.
I like him. I like him as
All right.
Danny Glover. But
This is on Hulu. This
It's
is how
on
out of
Hulu.
touch I
It's-
am, man.
it's,
'Cause, like, I have no
but it's
time
also
to
It's
on
a
fucking
Fox.
watch
It's a
anymore.
Fox
it's on
show.
Fox.
Yeah.
Like, I
but
can
it's
barely-
also on Hulu.
I can barely
Who's on
time to
Fox?
watch Dune all
All
the way
it is,
through.
all it is
By a 9-year-old.
all
or
it is
9-year-old baby.
CSI with characters you're familiar with. That's it.
It's just a procedural.
Yeah,
with-
CSI just with, instead of it being a made up police department, we know them as Riggs and Murtaugh.
We know the character. Okay.
That's it. But it's good, but I didn't like they changed it.
But again, it's they Star Trekked it. They rebooted it because I mean the way I know all the characters is they were old and retiring and moving out.
Right.
No,
So
this
it's
is
them
before.
younger,
Yeah,
right.
This is a
Exactly.
prequel. This is a prequel to the movie, basically. But
Right.
what
I
I
thought
will
they just
say,
met each other in other Lethal Weapon.
And-
Didn't they just meet each other?
No,
In the
they had
first
been
Lethal
partners forever
yeah,
in
'cause-
the
yeah, 'cause
Lethal
in
Weapon.
the first one, he
Oh, okay.
came over
It's
to the
been a
No,
house.
see, and that's
Been a
kind
while.
of like that's what's fucking me up about the premise of this is that how are you going to replace the craziness of Mel Gibson when original
Where he's
Lethal
banging
Weapon?
his shoulder.
'Cause he was fucking
Listen,
crazy.
listen, the dude that
And
they
Dan-
cast
and Danny
in
Glover.
original
My nigga
for
Danny
Mel
Glover.
Gibson
And
was
Danny
great.
Glover.
Was great. Like that was the whole reason why I haven't watched. And that's what I meant to say is since they kicked it back up, Stifler's been in it for like another 3 or 4 episodes. So people clearly like him.
Gotcha.
I only saw that first episode when they replaced him and was like, oh, I'm not watching this anymore.
I'm good.
So I may come back to it just to see how he does now that I know it lasted.
Yeah.
But the original dude they had for Mel Gibson was a perfect match. It was a perfect fucking match. It was a perfect match.
Hey y'all, to talk about Stifler, I don't know why. Well, I guess I know why, but Stifler's best movie ever was Goon. Y'all seen Goon?
Yeah,
Hockey.
no,
No, I
hockey
never
shit.
did see it. That's the hockey movie where he's
Goon
the
and
enforcer.
Goon 2. Did you see Goon 2?
That was a good movie, man. I was like, man, he acted the hell out that movie
I
because
thought
he used to be in. Like he's still the same Stifler in that movie, but it was a good movie.
I thought
Like
Now, see, his best
was Stark
movie-
Raven Mad.
You said Stark Raven Mad. I was gonna say Role Models. Role Models is my shit.
I did like Role Models.
Role Models is
I
a
did
good
like
movie.
Role
Role
Models.
Models.
But Goon is that underdog,
although,
like gritty.
I don't think
I'm
any
gonna
of
whoop
you
somebody's
fucking
ass,
credit-
knock his teeth out, shit.
Have you ever seen Stark
I
Raven
fuck with
Mad?
it.
Nah.
Huh?
Have you
I
ever
don't,
seen
I don't
Stark
think
Raven
any
Mad?
of you given enough credit to Dude, Where's My Car? Because, I mean,
I do like
as
Dude,
cliche as
Where's
that
My
was
Car
the
back in the
character,
day, but
that was one of the
Shibby.
funniest fucking movies.
isn't it
Shibby,
Stark
man.
Raven Mad?
Shibby.
That might not be what I'm thinking of.
I'm not a fan of his in general. I liked him in Role Models. Like, and because I think he was playing opposite of Paul Rudd. Because Paul Rudd, I feel
Paul
like
Rudd's good in anything.
Paul Rudd's good in anything, and on top of that, Paul Rudd, I identify with him because he's sarcastic as shit, and he just really doesn't give a fuck
Yep.
about anything.
Yep, Stark Raven Mad.
He is who he is. And
I like that's it.
Yeah, I like
I don't know
Paul
that
Rudd
one.
in,
I'll have to see
what
if
was
that's
it, 40-year-old
streaming.
version.
He's like
40-year-old virgin. Yeah.
He's a bank robber or
Dude, Paul
a
Rudd
professional
kills
thief
it
or
in
something,
virtually everything he
and they hire him to rob like an
But Sean
impossible
William Scott, I don't know if that's random that you bring him up, but I watched it like randomly enough a whole thing on why he just disappeared off the radar.
Who?
Sean William Scott, Stifler.
Stifler.
Is that why?
He probably
His ass?
he's probably nothing
Yeah.
like the characters he plays, and he's probably sick of it.
Tried to, doing his high watermark for trying to do something, like outside of the Stifler role.
Right.
And yeah, like that was it. He
That's
tried
why
to do
I
a couple other not Stifler roles, and everybody was like, you got nothing,
can't
get
do
out
it.
of here.
Right.
You remember
I'm
Balls
glad
Out?
that in some sort of a comeback with Lethal Weapon. I would love to see it.
You should see that. No,
I haven't
even
seen it yet.
Lethal Weapon, he's a Stifler. It's just
He's older.
right, and it translates to recklessness on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll get into the high speed chase when nobody else is willing to because I'm Stifler.
Yeah.
No, so is he bringing Stifler to the Lethal Weapon
he's
Mel
not,
Gibson
like,
role,
ignorant.
or
He's
is
not
he,
ignorant
actually
like
being
Stifler
able to
was.
embody that fucking crazy
No,
mentality
you can.
that Mel
Yeah,
Gibson
no, you
had?
can still see him as a police. Like you can see him as a police officer in the role. It's just like you're not. Yeah, well, you're clearly not a beat. You're an adrenaline junkie. You know what I mean? You're the guy that is gonna go after the armed suspects with no vest because you'll lose them. And the police officer or the captain told you to stand down, type shit.
Well,
But
okay,
it's
so
not.
I mean, I dig that aspect of it. But like Mel Gibson also had that aspect of like he had the gun in his mouth, and Danny Glover
Right.
had to like pull it away from him.
Right,
Like,
right. No, he's
you really,
still that.
you're not trying to pull this bill. You really are crazy.
He's still that.
Yeah.
It's not as comedic as you.
Is he
think
still
would be.
playing? He's playing Riggs.
He's not Riggs.
Okay, so
Riggs
he's like an
actually gets
interim
killed.
partner. Oh, okay.
Riggs.
How you
Oh,
gonna kill
damn.
him? Like if it's
Damon
a
hated
prequel,
that
how
man.
does
He hated him then. He killed this nigga off the show.
Well, I don't know because he gets.
Because
killed
it's
like
not. It's not
5
the same.
episodes,
It's not
5
the same
seasons,
universe then.
4
Right.
or 5
Right.
seasons in. So it may be
Damn.
after that the movies.
But the movies, they were both ready to retire, so that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Does it?
So it's basically like an alternate telling. Okay, which is fine.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Does it?
No.
Maybe that's why I stopped watching.
Right, because it doesn't make sense. Then at that point, call it something other than Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, maybe that's why I stopped.
Like if
watching.
you're gonna call it
'Cause
Lethal
I can't
Weapon,
remember why I
you have
stopped
to
watching.
connect.
I canceled Hulu years ago, but it
I
kept
got you.
going.
It
That's
did.
what I'm saying. If you're gonna reread the script and call something.
Right. Well, that's my whole thing. I hate it when they try to reboot something and they don't tie it into the existing
But
material.
Aaron makes perfect sense. If they didn't get along, then fuck what the story is. I want them off the
Star
show.
Trek.
But
Star
at the
Trek,
same
you
time,
know.
why call it?
Go ahead and Google it on your phone. Y'all can Google that. I don't
Well,
even
it was
No, I
already.
believe you. I
If
believe
it's
you.
already lethal
They hated
weapon
each
for
other.
5 years, it's not like we can say I
Right.
want him off
Right,
the show
right.
and change the show.
Right.
And it's still Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans is gonna be like, listen,
So Matt, what's
I
your?
had,
What's
I had
your
my wife and kids. nigga.
right? I can make this myself if I want to.
so Matt, you've said it twice now, and I want to give you the opportunity. How are you comparing that to Star Trek?
Oh shit, that's my fault.
Well, no, I mean the Star Trek. They actually did. Well, they had the beautiful loophole of time travel they put in there.
Okay.
You know, where they were just like, all right, now we can rewrite the whole script, and it's a brand new saga.
Right, and I hear you on that. Like,
Okay,
That
was
was-
comparing the Lethal Weapon show to Star Trek.
right, and my whole thing is I like Star Trek can get away with it because of exactly what you just said. They made a reason for it. There was time travel,
Right.
and you can do that because
Yeah,
it's
these
Star
guys
Trek.
are just like, oh, we're just gonna. Here's
Right.
the new saga.
Right. Never
Roll
thought
with it.
about that. That might be the
Yeah.
exact reason why I stopped watching.
Yeah, I don't know if I could, because at that point it's not Lethal Weapon. Because if
Hey.
those two don't become the Riggs and Murtaugh that I know,
Right.
Right?
why do
You
I
know,
care
Make a
anymore?
new saga, goddammit.
right?
They slicked at that with Fresh Prince. When they slicked at that with Fresh Prince,
With Vivian,
they changed.
Well,
they
no,
changed the
no,
mom
no,
money
no.
right quick.
It wasn't quite
Right.
the same.
Same thing.
because
Same thing with Family Matters. They switched the
it
mom
wasn't
money
quite
right
the
quick.
same because those were still the same
Hey.
character. This is a
It's still the same
completely
show.
different character.
But they took a main character out real quick and didn't say nothing.
but Cliff's
Yeah,
right.
the mom's light skinned now.
But
Chill out.
Cliff's right in the
No, they're
sense.
saying this isn't even Riggs anymore. This is Officer Smith.
What makes it different is that it's not the same character.
Right.
Like those shows just tried to make it that it was the same character.
It'd be different if they put Stifler in a long-haired wig and was like, "This is the new Riggs."
Right.
No, they said this is someone different.
I get that.
So that's what fucks up the movie, where it's like, well, where did we get to the point of the movie then?
See, I haven't even seen this, and I'm already disappointed.
Yeah, I guess I am now too. Now that I'm thinking about it all the way back.
Speaking of disappointments, Mr. Jennings, you told me to check out a video game this week by the name of Ancestors Legacy, and it wasn't that I didn't like it. Like I liked the premise of it. There are games that do it a lot better. Like the fact that you can't like. And maybe the multiplayer.
You don't know the rule. You don't know the controls yet.
No, wait. Maybe the multiplayer mode's different, and maybe that's my problem because I just was doing the campaign mode.
Okay.
But like the ability, and you can tell me I'm wrong.
Okay.
Couldn't zoom out.
Yeah, you
couldn't
can.
rotate the map.
You can't rotate the map.
See that right there was too.
You can't rotate the map.
That's too clunky for me. I can't.
You can't rotate the map. Now you can zoom out. You can You can.
So before we get too much into this, do you want to give them a rundown of what Ancestors Legacy is?
We could do that.
I like the concept. I don't like the execution.
It's like it's a different kind of game. It's one of those strategy games like where you have different armies that handle different, like they do different things. Like, so the object of the game is to set your army up where you want them to be. And it turns into like a Warcraft type scenario where they'll bring your army into your area, and then you address who you want to attack them with, type situation.
I feel like it's a real-time strategy game like Civilization, where
you can
distribute your army across a couple of different places, and then like you can try to entrap them in the middle, or you can go around. Or
see, I guarantee you didn't get into it deep enough because you can do a lot of shit. Like you can create a specific faction or whatever kind of person
you can create it. I thought you had to use the ones that were already existing.
Well,
and I haven't done the multiplayer yet, so maybe multiplayer
like
make me feel different.
Or anything, but you know what I mean. Like the different ones have different options. If you didn't know that, so you can take like your bow and arrows, your swords, your shields, and your axes, and you can say, "I'm gonna send these axes over into that tall grass, so when they come down this path, all my axes converge on them right there at that narrow path. Then I'll attack with my bows here." So the object of the game and in the multiplayer, it's basically like chess. Right, it's like chess, but there's no specific spaces to move.
I forgot about Stratego. I'm gonna have to get.
So
I'm gonna have to look that one back
up. I'm assuming you're gonna attack me from here. I'm gonna set my people up here, but if you don't, I'll put a couple here. And then the object is to kill all their men so I can go into their town and burn it down and take all their shit. So it's basically like a chess game.
It's raiding.
With an open field.
You're a tyrant, B. You're a tyrant, man.
It's hot.
He likes the Viking and
burn that shit down.
I just like taking people over.
Like I said, conceptually I like it. Because I love games like that.
Right.
I just didn't like the controls. And maybe it's different when you get to the multiplayer. Like in the campaign mode, you can't zoom in, zoom out. You don't have control of what units you have. Like, and maybe that's the difference.
That's the thing. You have to.
Nah, in the campaign they give you like specific units at specific times. Now,
no, you can control all of them at one time.
I understand you can, but you only have access to like 2 or 3 at a time when you start from the beginning.
Okay,
and you have to understand, I only played like 3 or 4 missions,
right,
so I've only had a day or two with it.
You're still in the what's it called?
Right, I'm still basically in the tutorial.
Exactly.
I think. Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. Right. Okay.
But it wasn't enough to hook me. But I'll keep trying because I bought it, so I'm gonna have to fuck with it a little bit. $20.
Okay.
So it wasn't awful.
Yeah. Okay.
And as long as I get like 5 or 6 hours, and honestly, what I'll do is, the next night that I have by myself, I'm gonna call you and be like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And
I'll
we'll
show you
we'll play a game, and we can that'll hook
like
me
it
up.
Could be me and you against Matt and Aaron type shit.
Yeah.
And you don't know what side of the map or what soldiers
where
you
anything.
got.
I got you.
I mean?
Yeah.
I practice social distance online. I do social distance online.
Now you just play trash ass games.
I might be trash, but hey, you ain't finna see it online. That's what you ain't finna see. I'm in person. You don't play me, you got to play me in person. Pull up with the stick.
I got a question.
Let's do it.
A question for all three of you here.
What's up?
Where the fuck do you guys find time to play these games now?
After my son goes to bed. When my son, well, first of all,
I used to be a big gamer. Like, I played all these games. I played StarCraft, Warcraft, Quake.
Because you were a kid. You were used to be a child.
Yeah.
If something's important to you, make the time.
Listen, I live by myself.
Man, I can't keep up with this shit.
I live by myself. If I didn't play the game, I'm thinking, what else the fuck would I do?
He's watching Orville or jacking off.
Perhaps.
Speaking of which, do we have a Corona porn update this
Jacking
week?
off, lifting weights.
Perhaps read a book. Maybe not read a book.
I would love to get down and just play some Counter-Strike
Corona
right
porn
now, but
update.
where the fuck do you, like this? Just doing this, I have to scrap for time to do this.
No, I get it, because your little one is your little one sleeping through the night yet?
Right. Yeah,
dude, he has had a complete fucking regression the last week, man. He is waking up like every 2 hours, and it's killing us.
But that's the difference is 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock is when we put my son to bed, between 8 and 9, and then if my wife isn't around, that's when I get my video games in, because she's gone at least 2 nights a week.
Once he gets older, nobody has to stay with him.
Right, exactly.
Just go in your room, go to sleep, put him in the bed, you're good to go. But now, it makes perfect sense. You have to.
Well, I mean, even before that. So this is the recent development. This is recent. You know, this happened like starting last Friday or something. Like he just started waking up like every fucking 2 hours.
How old is your son now?
At best.
He's not a year.
How old your
boy?
He's
9 months.
Okay, that's what I thought. He was under a year.
Yeah, until you get to like the 2.5 year
I don't even have kids.
problems.
They gonna wake up like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
dude,
you hit the 2.5 year
it's a trip. It's wild as fuck. And I don't know if it's a psychological thing. Like, you know, we thought we were past this point, and now that it's back, we just can't fucking deal with it. It's like we thought we were through.
That's what
you
it
think
is.
He's grown now? You think he's grown and shit?
Right.
Go feed yourself. Make yourself breakfast. Make you some toast and shut up.
Mine's been regressing in the sense that he's been having night terrors. So between it's usually only between 10 and 1.
No, I'm talking pre-kids. I'm talking him sleeping through the night problems. Like, just as being an adult and trying to fix my house and do my job and push for my career. Like, I don't have fucking time to play video games.
I don't have time. I don't have time during football. I think my thing is
shut the fuck up. Photosynthesis is not that quick. Your career is okay, sir. You have time to play video games, okay? Let me tell you that.
And I think
I gotta watch this plant grow. I gotta watch the plant grow. Is it growing? Good. I'm gonna check back in 5 minutes.
And on my side, I mean, I coach, right?
All right.
So in the seasons where I'm not coaching,
am I working too hard? Am I pushing too hard right
probably.
now?
I'm just playing with you. But yeah, no. Let me tell you something, and I want to get because that's another thing. And I want your thought out. But what I will say to you, especially as a new father, don't burn out right now. You know what I mean? Don't burn out. Listen, you just said your child is 9 months years old. Or 9 months. I said 9 months years old. 9 months old, okay? You have a lot of fucking time, my friend. You hear what I'm saying?
See, but the difference is, and I don't remember.
Oh, I know it.
You and your daughter's mom. I don't remember when you guys split. It's
3.
also different when you have a wife.
Right.
Who, especially
that's the only.
Especially a white wife that has certain expectations about. Are you paying enough attention to me the same way you're paying enough attention to the kids?
That's not just white women, Mike. It's not just white women, Mike.
Thank you.
It's not just white women.
That's fair.
Every woman ever made.
I'm just
needs
saying.
An absorbent amount of attention.
I can only expect my expectations.
Wait, rewind. Doesn't have to be woman, female.
Hi.
You can have a female cat, a female dog, a female a female goldfish will make you feel like, oh my god.
Are you listening?
I'm not
Are you
spending
listening to
time with
me?
you.
Are
I
you
must have
listening?
got it. I got
Are you
into this
listening to
without
me?
thinking. I wasn't
How many
thinking
times you
clearly.
gonna say that shit?
Listen,
I
that's
hate that
exactly
shit,
why.
man.
That's exactly why I am by
I go-
myself.
I ain't got no
Okay,
kids.
no,
I go
so
through
hey,
shit all the
this
time.
brings up a fantastic quandary that
tells me what
I've
to do.
contemplated through, the last 10 years of my life.
What you got?
Is that, okay, so our society is built around, this time between 20 and 30 is when you should be trying to push for your career goals.
Nah, I
You
think
should be
that's
trying
between
to
30
push
and 40.
to
but
expand yourself and make the best of yourself.
I think so too.
But at the same time, this is the same moment when every woman's biological clock is wanting to get that baby out, and you are just kind of forced to we gotta have a baby.
See,
While at the same time, I'm trying to expand my career.
here's my
definitely
thought
wear
on
a
that,
condom.
Matt. Here's my thought on that, and because you and I aren't that far,
Afterwards, Aaron, I'm gonna give you my thought. So
because you and I aren't that far off of one another, my whole point was 20 to 30 was getting to the point where I
Right.
felt comfortable
Right.
having a child and being in a relationship where I was ready to have a child. 30 to 40 is where I'm figuring out my career and what I really want to do.
I mean, it should be vice versa, but that makes sense.
But to my point, it was stability in my early 20s to get me ready to a point where I was comfortable to have a child.
So that would be that's
That's-
backwards. You said I felt comfortable having a child 20s to 30s.
I
and
said
30s
it
to
was about
40s.
getting me ready to have a child, and then 30 to 40 was actually having the child and launching my career.
Okay.
Because we had Andrew when I was
Well,
28, 29.
here's the
Go ahead.
I think you got it.
the conundrum. The conundrum I find is the biological clock.
Yeah.
Because evolutionarily speaking, we, as human beings, you start going, women anyway, start going, having the period at 14, 12, they're ready to start procreating at a very young age. Historically speaking, throughout all of human civilization,
Which
you
is why
started
you're
popping
seeing
out
birth
kids
rates
at
decline
around that
now.
same time, and you didn't stop until you were about 30. You died when you were 40.
Yep.
So the pace of the change of society has not really kept pace with the change of biology.
I got.
And so the demands of us as and for our push, to be successful in society have not, lined up perfectly with our biological clock.
Absolutely
Right.
not, which is why I'm spending thousands of
What's
dollars
your-
every quarter on IVF right now
What's your counter?
for a second one.
My counter is that God has his hand on the man's shoulder in this case, because we all know somebody that's a man that done had a kid when they was 55, 60, and the kids came out straight.
Right.
It was his kids.
Right.
But if a woman has a kid when she's 55 or 60, I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I don't know.
You're right.
I don't know.
You're right.
It could go either way. That
Right.
motherfucker could be crazy.
Listen, you're high
retarded,
risk. You're
all
high
type
risk
of shit.
above the age of 34.
So as a
35,
man,
yeah.
although
Yeah,
women
you're right.
are made to have kids at an early age, I understand that psychological ancestry type thing where people didn't live as long. I get that. But now it's like the tables have turned and they still can't have kids in their 40s. But I can. Sure can. I'm still shooting them. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that, look, I got relatives and shit, and I do think about, like, if I have a kid now, by the time they're 18, I'm gonna be like 53 or something.
Which isn't bad.
Is it not?
Isn't that bad? But like,
bad.
that's the only thing I think about is like, how old am I gonna be when my kid is of age? That's the only thing I
Amen.
worry about.
I hear
Other
you
than that,
on that.
It
If
all
I have a
depends
kid
on
when
what
I'm
you
47,
have.
I'll die when I'm
Like,
50,
let's
and
be
I'll be good.
honest, bro. At this age, the only option you
I
have is
didn't
a
take
girl.
this into consideration when I was
You can't have
thinking
a
about
boy?
like, let's wait until I'm 32 to start having kids. The energy level that you have at 32 is
Right.
not the same that you had
You
at
can't
22.
have a boy.
And fucking your ability to keep up. You're like, I need my sleep. Like if I
You're not wrong.
if I don't get a good night's sleep,
But see,
I am
It's beyond
The
that.
next day.
Beyond that, there's differences. A boy
No,
a boy will say, "Oh yeah, Dad didn't get enough sleep. Oh, and he was drinking last night. Oh, I'm out of here today. He ain't gonna notice this shit." A girl will be like, "Oh, Dad's still asleep and he's feeling upset because he was drinking last night. Let me go make sure he has water. Does he need any pancakes or anything to soak up that alcohol in your stomach?" That's the way a girl thinks. So at an old age like that, you don't want a boy because a boy will always test you. Always. Every single time. It's always going to happen. You don't want to be hella old when they test you because as a man, you don't want to be like, "You got it."
Hey, look, if my son is 6'7", 350 pounds, you got it.
I got it.
Right.
You got it.
On that one too.
You got it. You got it. Hey, look.
It depends
I'm
on
going
what
to
it
the
is.
club tonight.
You could
You
be
know what?
6'7", 250 pounds.
You need
and my
$20
son,
to get
and
in?
I'll still shoot
Here's
your
$20. Go
motherfucking
ahead.
ass. The fuck? I'll shoot you right here in
There
the
you go.
leg. Try me. You think, do I look like I'm old enough to fight with you? You think I won't shoot you in your leg?
I got my.
Child or not. Try me if you want.
No.
Bow.
Hey, nah, I'm gonna make that nigga an ally. I'm gonna make him an ally.
No doubt.
Right? My dad was cool.
It
He let me
doesn't
do my
work
shit.
that way, sir.
But so I feel like I'm gonna play both sides of the
Doesn't
coin
work
here.
that way,
I
sir.
feel like I'm gonna play both sides of
I
the
know
coin
it
here
doesn't.
because I've even gotten into this conflict with my wife on this shit. Like she pushes back on the fact that Andrew and I bump heads
It's the way
and
it
we
works.
battle each other.
It's the way it works.
And there's always a push
It's
for
a hierarchy.
and it's not all the time, but it's punch
somewhat.
about dominance, right?
Somewhat
You
right.
lost your
That-
boy. You lost your boy, by the way.
What's up?
I saw that, Matt. He must have fell
Oh,
out.
he must have flickered out. He'll come back, and I'll keep an eye out for him. Hold on one sec. I'll get it pulled up on my screen. But anyways,
There you go.
like, it's a point where I don't think she gets that. That's the dynamic between the father and son.
A girl
It goes
takes care
back
of you,
to-
a boy wants to beat you.
It goes back to it's Freudian, right?
I don't know what
A
that-
son wants to murder his father and sleep with his mother is the whole dynamic that Freud expressed. That's the Oedipus complex.
Now I can
But it's always about battling, right? It's that he wants to overtake his father.
right,
And my job as a father is to say, you're not ready
right.
until he actually is.
You got to show me you're ready.
Right.
I remember
hey,
that
Cliff.
moment.
Hey, Cliff.
Everybody remembers that moment when their dad's like, "Okay, you got it."
Hey,
By the way,
I-
we
you know,
got the hold on real quick, Aaron, sorry. We got the we got out in the chat the Rita. It's funny to hear you guys talk about decreased energy. This is coming from the ultra runner who's, 65.
Listen, right. But you also a
God damn.
woman.
He's still putting
crazy.
babies in
Listen,
the
you're a
universe.
woman. You're a lot more blessed and highly regarded than we are. Listen.
Oh,
Man. All right, go ahead, Aaron. Sorry.
I was gonna say, one, my dad had me when he was 35, right? And you seen my dad. I'm bigger than him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But I still have respect for him because how he raised me. So you can get the respect factor in there. And the second part of that is you talking about how you have a son, the son with the fuck mom, or whatever. This is kind of way off subject, but I don't even want to bring this up, man. I feel kind of.
Well, don't bring it up unless you want to
Hey,
bring it
You
up.
brought it
I
up.
don't bring. Hey, man, look, man. Your dad's stepmom was fine as hell. Your dad's wife was fine in the motherfucker. We all know that.
Cliff is dying over here.
Shit.
Hey, because he knows it's
Aaron,
true. We both
Aaron
said that.
killed
Like, hey,
Cliff.
Aaron
Man.
killed Cliff.
Oh shit.
Down goes Jennings. Down goes Jennings.
Oh shit.
it's your stepmom, so I get it. I ain't never felt that. 'Cause my dad is older and shit. My dad, my little sister, he was 43, and I think I told y'all this before. He was kind of like, he was happy, but he was like, damn. I'm like, I'm 43 and I got a freshman. like this is like another 18 right now. I'm gonna be 61 when she gets out of college.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Help me though. Help me.
I have that.
Help me understand why you had to say that. Help me understand the point of that statement. Other than trying to take me out like the police with tear gas. Like, where were you getting at?
Because I was looking at your
you
stepmom like she's a very attractive young lady.
She is.
You know what I'm saying? She's a very attractive young lady. And your dad is not my dad. So if I was ever at like a bar or something and she said, "Hey, Aaron, how you doing?" I'd be like, "Hey, how you doing?" That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Because I respect your dad a lot.
Right.
I respect your dad. I respect your dad. In the same breath.
I respect your honesty, sir.
Understand?
That's what I respect.
But that's the young bull complex. The young bull complex is I'm young in the game. Damn, I like what you have.
That sounds like respect.
So right. So never mind. Oh
yeah. Well,
yeah, never mind. That might be a little too deep of a conversation. So fuck it.
I've never heard Cliff say never mind.
Yeah, no, that's why I said fuck
it's a rarity.
That's why I said fuck it. And I always will. Fuck it. So I'm trying to think. Yeah, exactly. Now, I definitely understand and concur with everything that you said. I will say that.
It's your stepmom's hot?
She's an attractive lady.
Okay.
I said she's an attractive young lady.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's an attractive lady.
With all due respect.
Not anything that I would say that I'm just like, not in the sense that what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like where you want what your father had. Yeah. Now, what I was gonna say, it doesn't have anything to do with her.
No, I understand.
It's
just what makes me laugh.
It's how to word it.
I'm just laughing seeing you struggle with putting this together.
Right. That's really what it is.
Because it can be a touchy subject. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I ain't mean to put you in a precarious situation.
No,
nobody's
going to put me in any kind of situation.
Try to build myself out.
No, you don't have to bail out anything. You don't have to bail out anything. There's no need to bail out anything. Man. The only reason why I'm saying that is because who knows if my...
I meant what I said,
right. I mean, and I understand that, as you should. Listen, first and foremost, let me let you know, my father wouldn't want anybody that anybody else wouldn't see as attractive. That's first and foremost. If somebody, and that's the same with me, I wouldn't want to be with someone that everybody doesn't see as attractive. That's not somebody I want. So that's not disrespectful for you to say that. What I'm trying to maneuver is when you say, as a man, you want what your father has. You do in a sense, not in a sense of personally, but you know what I mean?
You want a bad bitch. You want a bad bitch.
Exactly. Now what it comes down to is some people are selfish when it comes to sons. Some people will say, I do want a bad bitch, but if I can have your bad bitch, I'll take her too. You get what I'm saying?
That's just wrong.
I mean, but it happens more times than it doesn't, especially in situations where there's no blood relation.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If that was my mother, then we'd never be having this conversation. But because that's not my mother, now we're in a little more convoluted, a little confusing situation, which is why I have to approach it. Which is why I have to approach it a little differently as far as things that I say, because while of course I'll say she's attractive, that's not ever anything that I would ever be like, yeah, that I want. And let's not get it twisted, because if that was the case, I would take it.
All right.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, and I don't mean that. And I don't mean that in any disrespectful way. I just mean that as a man, as that father-son dynamic where I'm supposed to beat you. If that was something I wanted, that would be a win in my book.
I got you.
Because I beat you there. But that's not. I don't know if that's not. Well, first of all, it's not me and my father's dynamic. Second of all, that's not my dynamic because we've had conversations like this all the time.
Yeah.
I will get what I want if that's what I want.
If that's what you really want.
But that's a completely different situation or scenario that it's like, now we're in a little.
There's no coming back from some shit like that.
Right.
What I was saying is,
I
may have phrased it wrong.
I don't know.
I may have phrased it wrong. It's kind of like one of them things that like, how do I phrase this right?
No, you phrased it perfectly.
No, yeah, like because I have nothing to do with anything.
Exactly.
Now I would never say nothing.
Listen, I know that you didn't mean that disrespectfully. I know exactly what you meant. I know exactly what you meant. And
I'm on the same page.
Right. We did you did a good job prefacing as well. But no, it's not. I'm just saying it was kind of funny how you came about it because like I said, it's not like that's my mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do in that situation? Like say like, nah, she's not. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'd be lying. And that's even more suspicious. That even makes you feel like,
makes it, well, why are you lying?
Right. Like, no, she's attractive, yeah, but that's not my cup of tea, I guess you could say. Or that's you or I don't, even if it was my cup of tea, at that point it comes down to how much do I respect you?
Right.
Can I give the opposite side of that?
Once again, if that's something I wanted, I would take it. Father, brother, mother, whoever or not, it doesn't matter. If that's something I myself want, because I'm not living for nobody but me. I don't give a fuck how nobody else feels. If that's something I want, I don't care how you feel. I don't care whose husband or whose wife or who your husband is. Doesn't matter to me.
I got like a small, because I'll put that on me, right? Because you know my dad is you worked at the Brownstone. He used to come in there with his assistants, or his whatever, you know what I'm saying. And he would bring me over there, and I'd be looking at him like, man, this girl like my age, like you act like I can't get this bitch. Like you acting like I'm not, like I'm out of range, like you dangling in front of me. That's kind of a little bit where I'm coming from. That's what I put on myself because my dad is. Mike, you know my dad, but you don't know my dad.
Yeah, no, I only met him once or twice.
Right. I mean, but that's the
same.
Cliff
knows my dad.
I know
my dad is a regular old fashioned nigga.
Yeah.
Good old fashioned.
I hear you.
No, I understood exactly what you were coming from, and that wasn't anything that I feel like you had to apologize for. Now, would my dad feel differently? Maybe, but
that's what I'm apologizing for.
Speaking of which,
I apologize for that reason. Cliff Senior ain't a joke.
But I'm saying though,
a point I want to broach with all
you
four
saying
of
it than
you,
from
all
me
three.
saying it, which is why I'll be honest and say it too.
All three of us are guys we've had fathers.
Yep.
Why is it that we all had that moment with our fathers where we felt like we needed to challenge them?
Because you're a superhero. Because out of
it's
this
the
entire
proof that you're ready to take over.
Out of this entire world.
It's a pecking order.
Out of this. Oh, were you not done?
I'm not done yet.
Okay.
The question I have is that I have seen sons with their fathers that don't have that relationship. Sons with their fathers that respect their fathers, like to no end, and listen to them, intently, and look up to them as guidance. And I didn't have that with my dad. Not so much, and not until I got like a lot older, and I realized that he had a lot of wisdom, and what he was saying, he just came across wrong.
Right.
And Dad, if you're listening, hey, it took me a long time to listen to you, but yeah, I finally got the message.
That's what's up, though.
But I've seen it with
Happy Father's Day, y'all.
6, 7,
Happy
8,
Father's Day, man.
Is that coming up?
Like 2 weeks.
Happy Father's Day. It's coming up.
I might have to call my old geezer
But
and see
no, I
if
mean,
he can't get him as a gift.
it brings up like
I
a
think that'd be
question I
awesome.
have as a
love
new
that.
father myself is, like how do I interact with my son to get him to that point?
You
To where he
are
won't, like I
Hey,
understand, like there's going to
Cliff
be
said it
challenges,
right.
but
Cliff said it right. It's,
when he puff up and try to get at me. But
Cliff
how
said
can
it
we
right.
mitigate
You
that?
ever- If you ever had a dog will try to see where you at in life. I want to see where you at. Like, there's gonna be a time where you say not to do something, and they gonna do it just to see what you do. Like, they can be like, "Oh, so you told me not to do this? I'm gonna go ahead and do it just to see what your reaction is." That comes in time in everybody's life. That came in time in my life. I'm pretty sure your dad told you not to do something. You're like, "Yeah, I hear you, but I'm about to go do this shit
All
anyway."
the fucking time. All the fucking time.
And we'll see what the consequences. We'll see what the consequences are when I get back.
So the way I look at it is, I think about it the same way I treat my players, right? Like, you can have tough love and you can have soft love, and it all be within the same relationship.
Depends
So
on the personality of the player.
I hear you, but I have no problem tearing my players down to help build them back up, as long as they know that I actually care about them. And
There always
that's
has to be the love.
And that's
that I think that's the key.
It is, and you have to come back to the love. Like, that's my whole point of view on it, and it's the same argument I get into with my wife, is that she sees us battling and sees us arguing and sees us kind of going at each other. She doesn't always see the quiet moments where I'm like, "Hey, like, do you understand why I said that to you? Do you understand that, I want you to act in a certain way because of X, Y, and Z? And even if you don't, I will still love you, but I will call you out." And this is the same way I am.
Anger. You explained your anger. Like,
Exactly.
This is why I was mad.
It's the same
I'm not
way
apologizing for shit. I'm not
Right.
apologizing.
I'm not
This is why I was mad.
apologizing. But I will tell you, like, this is what frustrates me. This is what angers. And I even do this with my 5-year-old. Like, you are pissing me the fuck off right now. And I don't use that language, but basically that's the intent of it. But understand that even though that's the case, I still love you. You are still my son. I still care for you, and I still will protect you at the
I
cost
think
of my
that's
own life,
something
etc.
that our previous generation of fathers didn't really understand, or maybe they understood it, but they didn't know how to enact it.
No, and in fairness to them, like, I've talked about it a couple of times. I don't know if I've done it on the show, but I got one left. Here you go.
Thank you, sir.
But my dad, like, my brother got the belt. I got threatened with the belt because I was smart enough to figure it out, like, I wasn't going to get hit. So, but in defense of my father was a military brat who moved around from base to base, whose father hung him over bridges when he got upset. Like, grabbed him by his ankles and threatened his life by hanging him over bridges.
Your grandfather's old school and a motherfucker.
Oh, no shit.
You would have died? God damn.
And what's funny is he's
I gotta
disowned.
see him on math project, nigga. I gotta see.
What's really funny is he's disowned pretty much the rest of the family. And my grandfather. And he called me today to tell me he's writing a check for my son that I'm not allowed to give him until he's 24. So I have to put it in a trust and all that.
That's what's up.
But, like, this is a dude who I've met once in my life. But every Father's Day and every Christmas, I send him a card and say, hey, like, I know my dad and you didn't have the best relationship, but
That's good.
here's where we're at, and I kind of let him know what's going on with his, because I think it's his only great grandson.
And you always extend that olive branch.
Absolutely.
Right? That's all you can
That's
do.
real.
That's all you can do.
He's, I mean,
How you
he's
heal
taking
wounds.
care of
The
it.
rest
Right,
is up to
exactly,
him.
right. And so I can go to sleep with,
Right.
clean conscience.
Right.
And that was my whole thing with even my son and my My grandmother on my dad's side and my grandmother on my stepdad's side they both got to meet him. They both got to spend a little time with him. And I have pictures with 4 generations of my family together.
Do you?
Yeah, which is...
What's crazy is Karma was born the day before my grandmother passed.
Oh, yeah.
In the hospital.
Jeez.
So there was no way I could get her out of the hospital
to get
see
over there.
my great grandmother in time.
Why does everybody have that?
So you could have 5 generations.
I was born the day my great grandmother died. I was born the same day.
Really?
July 26, 1985 was my great grandmother's death.
My great grandmother was still alive for a day or 2 after Karma was born, but it wasn't enough time for them to release her from the hospital to get her over there.
But still, I think it's impressive if you can get 4. That would have been 5, right? Great grandmother, grandmother, mother.
Oh no, Gibby was still Karma.
Me, daughter. Right. So you've gotten the opportunity to get 4 generations together.
Yeah, Karma met Gibby.
So
that's great grandmother.
I feel like that's a 4 generations is a stretch these days.
Right.
And you know what we were talking about not too long ago is that's going to become rarer and rarer. I mean, as people start having kids later and later.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. So we are we're at 2:10. I don't know if anybody has anything else they want to cover on tonight's show. I will say, because we didn't get to it tonight, Aaron, and because Cliff and I kind of went back and forth, and maybe we have this discussion on air, I would like to do either weekly segments on something that they don't teach in schools, or do a whole show on here are topics that they don't teach in schools, and here's where you can go get more information. So, Cliff and I,
y'all not gonna let me get my Cassius Clay off real quick?
Let
me get it off.
Well, what I'm saying is, I will let you get it off. I will let you get it off, but I do want us to have the conversation about how do we want to address that going forward. Do we want to do one topic a week, or do we want to do a whole episode on shit that they're not going to teach you and kind of redirect people? Like, I could go either way with it. Cliff and I were kind of going back and forth on this earlier this week.
I feel like we can.
I think you could probably go a whole episode.
I mean, we can do that if that comes. I mean, I feel like we can do both. Like, why can't both be true?
Okay,
do
both.
We do a fucking Corona porn update every week. Why can't we do a?
So let's do our next episode. Let's do a what they don't teach in schools, and then topics that we discuss in that episode, we can follow up on in later episodes around. Hey, I watched this. Here's what I learned. Here's what you can go watch to find out for yourself. Okay. Does that work?
That works perfectly.
All right. So
I like
with all of that being said, Mr. Spencer, tell us about something that they won't teach people in school.
Oh, I like that. I like how you
you gave it to me. And the reason why I brought this up is because, so everybody knows Cassius Clay is Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah.
On the sneak tip, I was named after Cassius Clay because my middle name is the same, right? So it's Cassius Clay. Look it up for yourself. I'm not gonna give it to y'all. But my middle name is because of Muhammad Ali. My dad liked boxing, like Muhammad Ali, so he gave me his middle name, right? But the original Cassius Clay has the same exact name. It's the same name, right? And Muhammad Ali's name is a junior, so his dad was named that. So there's a little lineage to it. But my middle name is the same for that reason.
To get this clear, though, I know we don't have a lot of time, but just to get this clear.
I mean, we got as much time as we need. I'm just saying we're
what you're telling me is Cassius Clay's grandmother had enough wherewithal to name her son after a white abolitionist?
No, his dad's name was Muhammad Ali's dad's name was Cassius Clay.
So his grandmother named
Muhammad Ali's son's name is Muhammad Ali's real name is Cassius Clay,
named after
Jr.
his father.
Named after his father, who was more. I don't know. I can't say he was named after this dude. I can't say that.
Okay, that's what it came.
It's all cool because the white dude's name is the exact same. It's Cassius Clay. It's the same middle name. All right, so
you don't
the
like
reason why I brought this up is because, for one, I'm not gonna say who's y'all's hero, but all my heroes, as far as black people and whatever white people, it's mostly just been like entertainers and like basketball stars and football stars and all that shit.
Right.
So this is a dude that was actually willing to die for what he said.
Right.
Like, I'm willing to die over this shit. Like, I don't care what you have to say. We can go outside and duel over this shit. Duels don't really mean nothing to us, but it's basically me telling one of y'all, hey, I'm gonna go outside with my pistol. You gonna go outside with your pistol. And we're gonna see who dies first.
Yeah, one of us ain't gonna make
Right,
it.
I challenge you to a duel.
Yeah,
that means one of you motherfuckers wasn't gonna make it.
That's pretty strict rules right there.
When they're one shot.
Exactly. He's the only white person I've ever heard of that not only killed for what he believed in, but he was willing to stand by it at any time in any place. Right? So if you want to come murder me, if you're not successful, I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna embarrass you. Right? But if you want to talk and whatever and you feel like I disrespect you and you want to do it, fine, let's go do that. Let's go outside and do that. Because he's the only person I've seen that's like, you know, he could have got $1 million worth of slaves from his dad. It was $40,000. It was $1 million. He let all them go. If you don't want to stay and get a job and stay where you at, that's cool, but you can go, right? He also built a school that was for black and white people. That's still open till today. He was very much. He was the one that told Clinton that, look, man, you should free the slaves because it's not right. Like, imagine this. Imagine a white person coming up on stage, right, and being like, look, coon, and then getting off the stage. You finna get hurt, right? You're not finna make it home, right? If you're a white person in the South talking about, hey, look, we need to free the slaves. You're not finna make it home.
Right.
You're talking about my money right now. Right. Like, this is beyond all that other shit. You're talking about my money. He was willing to give all that up for what he believed in.
Isn't that, I mean, I'm not trying to discredit my guy's story, but isn't that similar to John Brown, though?
Okay, but this is the 1800s, though.
What's the difference?
It's a different time.
Timing.
When was Cassius Clay?
1830, 1840, 1850, when they still had mad slaves.
But John Brown was around that time too, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is John Brown a white dude?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, give me his information. That's what's
he
up.
He was the one that worked
here's
with
what the segment's about, though. The
them.
segment's about history that you don't know.
Right.
I didn't know about Cassius Clay.
Right. Okay.
I didn't know this dude was out here fighting.
John Brown was about the same time.
Yeah.
They were running parallel, which shows that not all white folks are evil. There were two white folks back in the 1800s. Listen,
that's why black folks
I understand.
Still to this day.
I understand.
What you mean? But I mean, it's funny that you put it that way because Cassius Clay was somebody that I had never heard of. But
right,
I knew
but you knew about John Brown.
So
and I think that's again, this is shit they don't teach you in school.
Right.
Let me get my little line now.
Even us as black folks didn't know this.
He's got it. Go ahead, Aaron.
No. This is just my little line. Like to all the people that say they want change, are you willing to die for it? This dude, Cassius Clay been shot, he's been stabbed, robbed. He had to have a whole cannon pointed towards the front door because he was afraid for people to come through the front door on him. Look, if you're not willing to die of it, don't come around because that's what it is. He was willing to be like, look, if they come through try to kill me, y'all go through the top hatch. I'm staying here.
And he had two cannons in the
front. I'm busting
front.
everybody that comes through the front door until I die.
And he had two cannons sitting in the front office, right? Had sitting at the front door that he could basically blow up at a minute's notice.
Sir, are you supposed to be here?
Right.
Sir, are you supposed to be here? Wow. He's dead now.
We'll all go in this bitch. We'll put cannons in my office, and we can all go today if that's how you feel about it.
That's like he said. They said he had the most duels in American history.
For real?
I don't know how many that is. I should do the research. But here's what I will tell you: Andrew Jackson, right?
Yep.
The president.
$20 bill.
Had over 100 duels. Our president had over 100 duels.
So that means this dude had to have more.
So how many duels did Cassius Clay have to have the most in history? So
Right.
You
100.
gotta think probably daily. It was probably a daily situation
That's
if
what I'm
you're
saying.
arguing that position.
And you're living in Kentucky.
Exactly. So people were daily like, oh, that's the Cassius Clay dude? Duel time. What's going on? And he was probably like, hold my beer. Duel time.
No.
What's going on?
Y'all seen the story? There was a dude that said he tried him on some shit and he wanted to do a duel on his wedding day and he talked shit about it. So let's do it again. And dude killed himself.
Did a duel
Now,
on his
anybody that
wedding
kills
day?
himself before they have an opportunity to kill somebody is weak for one.
Period.
But two, that means you're afraid of this dude like hell.
Right.
Because you could just kill him. You could
Right.
just kill him. But you're gonna kill yourself because you're afraid of what he's gonna do to you. You're talking about a dude that was 89 and fought off two people, stabbed one to death, and killed one person when they was trying to rob him. He was 89. Imagine run up on an 89-year-old dude and he draws down, shoots one of y'all and stabs one of y'all to death. How did you feel?
Right.
Where are you at in life?
I'm alive.
Right.
All I'm saying is that, like, as far as a white person that's not an athlete or an entertainer or anything like that, that's the white person I look up to. We share a name, indeed, but if I had to go to war, if I had to go to a fight and he was on my side, I'd be like, man, this nigga can ride.
Right.
This Cassius Clay, nigga. You got the strap on him? You want to duel? What you want to do? You want
Right.
to fight?
Oh, you want
stab? What you
dueling?
want to do?
Cassius.
He cut a nigga's ear. He cut a nigga's ear
Let's
off.
roll. Let's
He said
roll.
duel,
Cut a
bro.
nigga's ear off. Not a nigga, I'm sorry. He cut somebody's ear off, cut his nose off, and then threw him down the embankment because he tried to kill him. He was already had a bullet in him.
Right.
He's hard body. Put him on my team. I need him to roll with me. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Well, I think that's a good topic, and I do like the idea of let's do a full episode on shit they won't teach you in schools,
We can do that.
and then do a segment at the end of
That
every
definitely
show.
won't be taught in any school I've ever been to.
Right. And then do a segment at the end of every show that is basically hitting on one of those topics
I wouldn't mind that.
for at least a little while.
I wouldn't mind that.
All
At
right,
least
so
for
that's what we're gonna do as part of our social activism. In terms of we gonna educate folks.
Oh, is the KKK coming tomorrow
What now?
to the rally?
I didn't see
tell
all that,
me
but
they're not.
Are they?
God damn it.
I don't know. I didn't
If
see.
that's the case, I will be down there tomorrow. Brothers, sisters, allies, be there as well. I will definitely be down there. I'm not with all the holding up signs and shit. But if those good old boys is gonna be down there tomorrow, trust and believe these battle boys will be there to welcome them. That's 100.
It took them a week to get organized, apparently.
Whatever.
I guess.
It's
Whatever.
the sad
But
reality of Ohio is we
I
have
don't
one of the
I
largest
don't run
KKK
from no
followings in the
scuffle.
nation.
And why Cliff, I've always said, I always will be there for the revolution. If it's a chance that it might kick off tomorrow, Cliff will be down there, coronavirus and all. What's good?
Hey, you need to start working out then, my brother.
Right.
Start working out. Because if the revolution happens,
You're looking
you
a
need to
little
at least-
flabby there.
You
Cliff.
want to run like at least 2
That was
miles.
before.
You got to at least get 2-3 miles.
Well,
You got to
see,
get away from the ruckus.
No,
so you
I'm
get
not.
to the strap.
Ain't no running.
Hey,
Oh,
all
you gotta
right.
get the guns going.
You got to
Ain't no running.
re-strategize.
Ain't no
They got
running.
AKs out here. Let me go get my AR real quick. Put
Listen,
some 223s in
Hey,
that bitch and
didn't
make
they-
this shit happen.
listen. Nobody said what would come along with me. Now, we just said I'd be there.
So what I will say
Right,
is on some real shit here in Ohio, don't take any water from anybody. They've shown that water for protesters was actually laced with antifreeze.
Ain't that
From
a bitch?
some
Goddamn,
donations
for
here in
real?
Columbus.
What?
From
Yep.
donations
We
in
put-
Columbus.
We
Yes.
put Sherm in y'all's water, man. Y'all got Sherm, man.
So-
Y'all on
Everybody
that
gonna
water.
be wildin'.
So with all that, Cliff or Aaron, you got anything to take us out? I'll give you a minute.
I need that whole minute.
We'll go for it.
Matt, what about you then?
You just go stand there pretty.
I'm still reeling from their fucking putting antifreeze in people's water
Yeah,
bottles,
that's
man.
wild.
What the hell?
That's wild.
Go look up COS MC Medics
I
here in
wouldn't be
Columbus.
surprised if it wasn't the police.
I mean, you
I
may
would
not be
surprised
wrong. You
if
may
it
not be
wasn't the
wrong.
All signs point to the police did that.
You know what?
Up till now.
I may not be on next week's podcast. I may just take myself up on my long time offer of just moving the fuck out to the. This shit's getting ridiculous.
I hear you.
You're welcome regardless, sir, and understand that whatever you choose.
I mean, I know I love conversating with you guys, but like if they're putting what?
Whatever
Yeah.
you choose
Fucking
to do,
poisoning
you
people
got
with water bottles.
You got an ally in me, sir.
All right, Cliff, you got any last words to take us out?
Guys, and
My only last words are why I will always, always, always preach love, regardless of the situation, to my soldiers out there on the front lines. Be vigilant and aware of what you're fighting against. And sometimes love is not the proper weapon to bring along with you. And in those cases, protect yourself.
Amen.
This motherfucker.
And
Look at this mother. You been reading the Quran, my brother?
Listen,
Eating pie?
hey, listen.
Would you like to buy a basket of
Assalamu
fruit?
alaikum. I love you all.
Assalamualaikum.
And with all that being said, yo, check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, all that shit.
Apparently, we got a
And
foolproof page.
Apparently, we got a Foolproof page. Check us out, and if you want to support the show, hit us up at foolproof.live. I
Check
want
out
to
the
appreciate.
fucking Nobody's podcast.
Hey man, check out the fucking Nobody's podcast. Check out Wine Night.
I don't get my clothes. I don't get my
614.
clothes out. I don't get my
Oh yeah,
clothes
you
out.
had your. I'm
My
sorry.
clothes out.
Oh, I thought we didn't we offer
I
it
get my
to him?
clothes out statement.
He said he needed
No,
the whole
my-
minute.
Oh, I
My-
thought you
my-
needed the whole minute.
It's
and
short.
then you
It's
were
short and
quiet.
sweet. It's
All
short
right,
and
go
sweet.
for it. Go for it.
The revolution will not be televised because they're going to cut your internet off. So
No shit. That's coming
Yeah.
next.
the revolution won't be televised. They're going to cut your internet off.
You better
This
listen.
is gonna happen.
Listen.
Stay strong,
You better
y'all. We love
Better keep your
you.
ear to the street and look outside the window every now and
And
again.
make sure you on the
Might come
right
up on 'em.
side of history. That's what
That's
I will
right.
say.
That's
That's
right.
the
Make
most
sure you're on
important.
the right
Make
side.
sure you're on the right side of history, ladies and gentlemen.
We love all y'all.
seriously,
Hit
as
us
much
up. Go
as
for
much
it.
strength as you want to put out there, we all need to have some love too.
That's true.
Listen.
And with that, fools agree. Cheers. We love all y'all. Take
I
it
got no
easy.
beer left.
Love y'all fellas.
Me
It's
either.
all right. Cheers to you
Cheers.
nonetheless.
I'm the only one drinking straight liquor. I'm drinking straight
My
liquor.
man.
No, you
Straight
won't.
liquor.
If you
Love you
guys
guys,
stay,
man.
if
Carry
you guys
yourself.
stay on, we'll
Safe.
talk to you.